It is a final in the town that gave you me and the town that gave you a thrilling first round today, as it's Garza Law, Tennessee basketball overtime. The Vols win 78-56, and so far, so good on the path to what could be. An absolutely majestic run for the Vols. Did the bracket open up today? Kentucky absolutely lucked out. We'll talk about that. Herb Sendek, I don't know what that was, but it wasn't coaching at the end of the game. But that was, I'll tell you this right now, that was a total mismatch, and the Vols made it count. And let's go as we bring you as we come in today. And I want to shout out all my friends over at the U2. I want to shout out lovely Laura. I want to shout out everybody on board today as we're fired up, focused, and prepared with you. Tennessee cruises. It is no problem. It was no problem. They blew them out by halftime, and it was all over but the shouting in the second half for our Tennessee Volunteers. Let's introduce the panel for you on this one, as Maury Hanks is here, Super Scout to the Stars. Matt Dixon in the house. Also in the house, Alex Myers and Brian Hartman as well. And I'll get their thoughts as we go around the room. In fact, let's give each guy 30 seconds. Maury, your thoughts first, since you and I today were at Calhoun's.
This is a lot better, Tony, that I don't have to look at you, but, welcome to everyone. No, I mean, it was somebody just said it was a bad matchup for Miami. The game kind of went as I expected to. They crushed them on the glass. I wouldn't have thought they would beat them this bad if you told me Nate Ament wasn't going to score. But Tennessee did what they had to do. I mean, Miami's trying to get up 33 pointers. They shot 29. Tennessee defended them. They defended them. They got them. Contested shots. Nothing easy. And it's 22-point victory.
Maury we were talking about the referee assignment today, and we're with about 15 minutes left in our daily show today, live at Calhoun's. Where, ladies and gentlemen, take advantage of them all weekend with the Vols home. We'll be back next time Tennessee baseball's home in a couple weeks. But Matt Dixon, the officials today let Tennessee put hands on them, let the game get physical, and you heard Miami's head coach, when they interviewed him at some point, say, hey, they're letting them get very physical with our guys. He knew, Matt, they were in big trouble. They had no chance in that game.
Yeah, when Tennessee's allowed to grab and clutch, and it clearly affected Miami. And it really the Jacoby Gillespie game, and that first half was incredible. And Tennessee shot really well. I think Tennessee actually made more threes than Miami, which was kind of a stunning result. But on Miami, I think they airballed more threes than they made, especially after the hot starts they got. And it was just the dominant win for Tennessee. Obviously, the Ament deal is a little concerning because it looked like he just had zero energy out there, but luckily you didn't need him today. You'll certainly need him going forward, especially against Virginia, a team that really struggled today.
Yes, they did.
Pulled away late in a game against a team that really outplayed them for a lot of that game, but just kind of ran out of gas late and couldn't continue making shots.
So Matt's over.
A great win, and just took care of business, very Rick Barnes-like in the opening round.
No question. And Alex Myers, that Ament deal, the body language, the way he looked. I mean, I don't want to make more of it than it was, because they really kind of didn't need him today. But they needed him a little more than, anybody, obviously, we'd have liked to have seen a little more from him. Very, very strange seeing him. But as it was, that bunch, no match for the Volunteers. None at all.
No, and, it's, further proof, we all know this, but the game ultimately, you can be a great strategist, you can do this and that as a coach, but you got to have players, and the level of athlete, even a casual today could just look out there and just look at the court and realize it's two different animals out there. And like Matt said, when Tennessee's able to play physical, that's just never going to work, because not only were they not making shots, they weren't even getting shots off in a lot of cases. But I thought for a team that we've seen, unfortunately, blow big leads throughout the season, it was really nice to see them, because I just kept waiting. I didn't really ever feel like this game was in danger, but I did kept waiting on them to kind of make a flurry.
Yep.
And Tennessee was able to kind of stave that off and never happened. And then I think I texted you at halftime. I said, at this point, unless it gets close, I think I would just sit Ament. And they did that and were able to do that. So I think outside of the little ankle tweak there to Estrella.
Boy, that's not good. That 3.5.
No, it's not.
That's not good. Him being out on the floor is not good there. I don't like that at all.
No, and I don't understand why you've got Gillespie driving down the lane, going for a dunk, and almost hyperextended.
Doesn't make any sense.
A half. That's stupid.
Well, like Maury today.
Outside of that,
look,
it was about as good as this game could have gone.
During the year, when people, I'll bring Brian here momentarily, and then we'll go to the phones because this is about you. This is all about you. We want to hear from you. All lines are jammed. But during the year, the truth is, Maury, they're trying to gimmick the system. That's why nobody plays their bench anymore. Because they're trying to gimmick the numbers. They get these quad 4 teams and they pound the hell out of them. And everybody says, well, why don't you empty your bench? The reason they don't empty their bench is because every basket you score during the year counts. And they incentivize you to pile drive people. Now, that said, there is no incentive today. This is survive and advance, baby. JP Estrella has zero business being out there with 3.5 minutes left. I mean, that makes zero sense. I'm sorry.
I couldn't believe. Yeah,
I can't believe he's out there.
I can't believe that Gillespie played 36 minutes.
Like, what are we doing?
I mean, the game was after the second half. The game was never in doubt.
Like, never.
Let some of those other guys go out and again, as I said earlier about on the show today, we're talking about something else. If they ran the shot clock down, get the ball, go down, pass. 2 seconds left, throw the ball out of bounds. You can count the number of possessions you need to get to zero. I mean, Gillespie playing 36 minutes is, mind-boggling.
Brian Hartman, jump in. Great win for the Vols. Look, anytime you walk on the floor in one of these things, anything can happen. Anything can happen. Anything can happen anytime you walk on the floor. Brian Hartman, your thoughts on what we witnessed today. Then we go to the phones.
I think Miami of Ohio had to use up all their fuel Wednesday night.
Mm-hmm.
And having to travel, they got a break without Edwards playing. Mm-hmm. But I think that sort of felt like their Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
They got in the tournament. They shut up all the people who said they shouldn't have been there by winning a game by 10 points.
Mm-hmm.
And it sort of had that Super Bowl effect letdown when they had to travel to a gym that they hadn't played a game in yet. And that sort of neutralized the advantage that they might have had. And Tennessee was just the worst possible matchup. Suter could not even score over Ethan Berg.
Mm-hmm.
That ought to tell you everything you need to know right there.
Well, here you go. Hey, Matt, speaking of this, that, and the other, what the hell is Santa Clara letting Kentucky get that shot off at the end of that game? What was that, Matt? Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you grab them as soon as they get it inside, get it in inbounds? What is this, buzzball back in the day, Matt?
Quick enough to do that, and that's probably why they tried to call the timeout. And with the new continuation rules, you kind of could get them bailed out, but that was absolutely disgusting to see that.
Now the bracket's open, Matt. Matt, now the bracket's open. The big man's hurt from Iowa State.
State's most important player gets hurt. I mean, just absolutely disgusting. But we will all be Cyclones on Sunday.
Every single one of us. And by the way, that Kentucky team.
I hate it for Santa Clara. They deserve to win.
They deserve to win.
Had just about every judgment call went against them.
Yes.
Kind of down the stretch, which had to be frustrating as hell.
Yes. I've got on the title today, and I'm not trying to get at you Cat fans, but Cat's got lucky. You got lucky today. You're fortunate you're still dancing. We're dancing because we are physically dominant and better. You're dancing because, I don't know, Herb Sendik's over there. I mean, what is that? And then he says after the game, he says, well, I was calling timeout. I was doing this. You weren't doing anything. What do you mean? I was telling our guys to foul. No, you weren't. As soon as the ball goes in, you demonstratively tell your team to grab somebody. You got a coach on the bench these days, man, in this day and age. You got a coach.
Iowa State has opened as a 4.5-point favorite over Kentucky.
There you go. That tells you everything.
Even with the uncertainty of Jefferson.
Tony did do it. Asks, is this a Tennessee show? Hey, Tony, I'm putting your myopic ass, since we're talking about the NCAA tournament, and they're in our bracket, your myopic ass goes into the box for 10 minutes for being a punk and a clown over on YouTube. So you and your myopic ass sit in the box and think about it. And the rest of us are going to celebrate ball. If that's okay with you, you clown. Let's go to the phones. 865-200-5402. Matt Diskin, when's the first pitch? Set the scene for me. What kind of crowd do we have at the Lindsay? Then we go to the phones. We're in everything school here.
Pretty good crowd. We're in the middle of the first. Tegan Coons retired the side with
Matt
I'll get a bat here in the bottom of the first. Just a perfect evening at Lindsey Nelson Stadium.
I absolutely love it, love it, love it. I love it. What a beautiful day we've been gifted with. Man, I got my day started off right down at Calhoun's on the river, the Taste of Tennessee. Absolutely next level. And I want to shout out Maury Hanks, who hung with me today. We hung and bunged with the Hulksters and all the little Hulksters out there. We took phone calls. Let's go to the phones, because it is the geophysical year of the common fan. It is the geophysical year of the caller. It is the geophysical year of, did the bracket open up with that Iowa State injury? And you hate to see that, right? But if you're able to get past Virginia, all of a sudden you got to think, as a Tennessee fan, you got to think to yourself, Kentucky, if it comes to that, or Iowa State minus their big man. He's their most important player. Not only is he their big man, he plays all 5 positions for them. But other than that, I'm sure he's not very good. He's easily their best player. And to see that type of injury happen, it makes me seriously want to throw up when I saw that. So let's go to the phones. We'll get as many people in here as humanly possible on Garza Law, Tennessee basketball overtime, and we'll get our first call in. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Tony B, Vince of Vegas.
Hey, Vince, welcome in. Good to talk to you.
You know, I told you I wanted this 6 seed.
Yep.
You remember me telling you?
Sure, Vince. I remember it all, buddy.
So now we get Virginia. And Virginia might be the easiest 3 seed to beat in the history of the tournament.
Matt Dixon, is Virginia the easiest 3 seed to beat in the history of the tournament? Matt Dixon, in your opinion, do you go with Vegas Vincent here, or does Vegas Vincent understand matchups? Matt, would be my question for him. But go ahead, Matt. You tackle that.
I'm a pretty solid team. I don't know how great they are, but they're kind of offensively pretty similar to Miami. Mm-hmm. They just have a little bit more skill and athleticism, but they can kind of space the floor and shoot threes. They've got some really good guards, including one who came off the bench and scored like 25 today that really kind of carried them to the win. Mm-hmm. But they struggled with Wright State. They struggled with Wright State's ball pressure, especially when they were kind of penetrating, which is interesting. And Wright State was really the aggressor in that game, which I guess if you're an underdog, maybe you always play that way. But Virginia looked kind of shell-shocked, so I'll be curious to see how they come out Sunday, because they really struggled and kind of won with a C-plus game today.
Hey, Maury, do we come with the ball pressure? Do we take anything that Wright State did and annex it for our purposes?
I didn't watch a lot of that game. I was going back and forth. I saw Virginia turn the ball over, sometimes that I didn't think they would. I think they ended up with 14, 15 turnovers, which is unusual for them. But again, they kind of got shook, but they won. You can play a perfect 38 minutes like Santa Clara and go home.
That's exactly right, Vinny.
Tony B, their best player looks like you. He's bald-headed.
Vinny, my point on Virginia is be careful what you wish for. That's the only thing I'm going to say to you or anybody else, because they're extremely big, they're extremely long, they're extremely physical. And Nate Ament better look a whole hell of a lot better than he looked today if that's going to be a good matchup for us. Because if Nate Ament looks like he did today, that's not a good matchup for us.
Here's the question I have, because you have the inside info and I do not. Is the Ament just out there as a tripe, as a snipe, or I mean, what happened today?
I don't know. I can't explain that. It was weird looking, man. I'm digging into it right now. I'll tell you that. I've got 3 texts out. I know Maury has a couple texts out. No,
I do not understand what happened with him today, Tony B.
He was funky looking today. He was funky looking.
Okay, so here's the deal we both know. We can beat Virginia without him.
No. Actually, no. We don't know that.
Can't. But we can't advance beyond that.
Hey, Vegas, you're out of your mind if you think Tennessee can beat Virginia without him. No, they can't.
Well, I watched Vegas. I watched Virginia play today.
I don't think you know what you're looking at.
The entire game.
I don't think you can't judge a team based off one game in the NCAA tournament. The games are about matchups and how they function against each other.
I agree with that.
Well,
100%.
Well, Jalen Carey's going to have to pick up the slack in scoring, and a guy that looked like he hurt his ankle at the end of the game in Estrella. I mean, I don't know. And Carey can't get shots off against a team the size of Virginia. But other than that, I'm sure it's a game you can win without Nate Ament. That makes 0 sense. No offense. They'd have to score.
I'm not saying Gillespie, you can win it. I'm saying it's. I'm not saying you're going to win.
Oh, I thought that's what you said.
What I'm saying is, even without him, it could be won if Gillespie plays like that 2 in a row.
Vegas, you're my man. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for the call. Panel, any thoughts on Vegas's Brian? Do you think the Vols without Ament or with Ament not coming to the party like he did today, can we get past Virginia in your opinion, Bri?
Well, you better keep Eno away from that guy.
Why?
Because I don't know if you want, maybe you do want what some of that guy's smoking or what that guy's smoking.
I mean, what in the world?
I don't know. I really don't know if they could beat him with the men in a hobbled up Estrella. They need everybody full strength.
Our T3 call of the day, Maury, what do you think?
Oh, I mean, yeah, it had to be one of Gillespie's threes, I think, early in the game to get some separation.
No, I mean like that caller. Is that caller our T3 call of the day?
Oh!
Let's go back to our phone.
T3. No, that's definitely not, in my humble opinion, the T3 call of the day.
Back to the phones we go. We love you, Vegas. You're my boy. You're my boy, Vegas. I think I was out in the hot sun today. I'm a little snappy. Like I get. Let's go back to the phones and get our next call in. Hi, welcome in. You're on the air. Hello, welcome in. You're on Garza Law, Tennessee Basketball Overtime, presented by Marcos Garza, the Garza Law Firm. All right, let's try this one more time. Hello, welcome in. You're on the air. All right, you're gone. Hello, welcome in. You're on Garza Law, Tennessee Basketball Overtime.
What's up, Brider?
Hey, Reggie.
Hey, tell those guys if you hear a beep on your phone, that means you're on. You're on.
I mean, and when you hear the phone on hold, that means you're the show on hold. That means you're locked and loaded. We're operating with 4 right now today. 4 phone lines and 1. 4 phone lines and 1.
David. Cody. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I thought, the slipper was on them and they, had all the, but when they panned over there, how many Speedos did they? I seen 1 Speedo, brother.
And it was Bino. Bino went to Philly today and wore a Speedo. The bottom line is this. That game,
it was some kid Bino paid.
Physically, that team had 0 chance today. And as Brian said, once they shot their first couple of shots, you know what that reminds me of? An old schoolyard fight where you get that first punch in and you punch them in the nose with a couple 3 balls, and then they get you on the ground and they just wrestle you, and then they pin you, and they put you like in the Boston Crab. And then they're ground and pound. Tennessee grounded and pounded them, and Gillespie today was so good. So good today. So good.
It's kind of like your boy up there at Penn State coaching that wrestling team. They just freaking annihilate everyone.
Ain't my boy. But, yeah, you're right.
Tony,
They're very good.
When the game started out, you're thinking, please just put your foot on their throat. And they did that without their best player. He didn't score. How many minutes did he play in the second half? Like 2 minutes?
Ament played 18 minutes total, and he wasn't on the floor. And I don't know what to make of it. I've got several texts out right now. I'm trying to figure out what's going on there, what that's about. It's very strange.
What it's about is they were manhandling. They didn't need him. I mean, he was, banged up. Just sit him and let's go on about our business, because that team, I'm sorry, but that was an absolute beatdown.
The odd thing about Ament, though, is he didn't look really engaged in there in the first half when he was in. Panel, did you think that? Alex, did you have that thought that he didn't look engaged?
No, I think you're onto it, Tony. I mean, he may be fairly healthy, but there was something to me on defense. He looked a little bit slow, and he's long and lanky, so it kind of appears that way anyways. But to me, he looked a little bit slower, not as quick-footed as normal. And then offensively, it's not just that he wasn't scoring. I don't even hardly remember him taking a shot. He just kind of seemed zoned out. So hopefully he's just kind of working his way back. But I'm with you, Tony. It seems – I would love to feel like you do, Sammy, but to me, I tend to think something else is going on. Hopefully not. But
well, I think it's just they saw this was, they were outmatched and they were just going to manhandle this team, and they decided right there, like, hey, just take it easy and don't even worry about it. But Gillespie, I mean. Tony, this team has the ability to be in Indianapolis, and, it's always been the first of the year his teams shine and play their best, and then they get to it's going to be the opposite this year. This team's going to find it and get it together right here in this tournament.
Why not?
Tony, it's been just a weird year. Something's been off. They've missed bunnies. They've turned just the dumbest turnovers, and they did have a lot of turnovers today.
Yep.
But if they can just clean it up, we will do this, man. Go Big Orange.
Thank you, Sammy. Great talking to you.
Love you, brother.
Sammy and the Ridge. Maury, what do you think before you go back to the phones? Maury, what do you make of, and what do you think of that deal, the matchup with Virginia on Sunday, where Vinny just sent me an angry email. Vinny's all tore up at me for saying it's not the greatest matchup in the world for us, which I don't think it is. But go ahead, Maury.
Tony. I mean, they've got big guys. Again, Tennessee's not great at the rim. I mean, Carey can't get off the floor. Estrella's not the strongest guy in the world. He'll battle, but he can't play through contact. He's light in the ass. Mm-hmm. But again, they're still playing. They could be, looking at the positive side, they could be playing in another bracket and be playing another 3.
That's exactly right.
Illinois, I think, is better than Virginia. I'd rather play Virginia than Michigan State. The only other 3 I may want to play is in the West, and that'd be Gonzaga.
That's exactly right. And you know what, guys? As Tennessee going off as a 6th seed today, and I do give Vinny and Nashville credit for this. As a 6, you wouldn't want any other 11 but Ohio or Miami of Ohio today. You wouldn't want anybody other than them. The Vols have opened as a 1.5-point favorite on Sunday. Here's what I'm being told, guys, on because I asked what's up with Ament. One of my sources said, same thing, Tony, that's been bothering him all year. He got up today, and his ankle was sore. Now, are they going to admit that? The postgame, I don't know, but they got him off his feet in the second half. So let's go back to our phones at 865-200-5402, and we'll see how it goes. It's been touch and go for him all year. It's really a shame to me that you get to the tournament, and I'm being told internally that it's the same thing that's been bothering him all year. The ankle. And Maury, those injuries, the severity of those things come and go, right? Depending on the day. You've been around the sport a long time with these big guys.
Yeah, I mean, he could feel, and he played 18 minutes today.
Yeah.
And again, if he told him, hey, we're not feeling good, there was no reason to play him. Now, a lot of times they'd say if it was a meaningful game, if it's game 7 of the NBA, playoffs or whatnot, could he go and stuff like that? If they were behind, if they were playing a better opponent, could he have went? There's no reason to find out if he could have went.
Back to the phones we go.
Hey, Tony, can I ask a question that I'm sure I'm not the only one thinking?
Yeah.
With your sources, you may know. So is it just the ankle? I mean, is that knee deal from a week and a half or so? Is that officially kind of gone?
It's
is
not
it just
a point.
The ankle now?
Yeah,
or is
it's
that
an
a
ankle
bit
deal.
Of both?
No, it's the ankle deal that's been bothering him all year. And the thing about that ankle injury is that it's always lingered. Even when he was playing his best basketball, the ankle was a thing. So let's go back to the phones. I love him. I think he's a tough kid. I think he's shown a lot of toughness playing. Look, a lot of these high-profile guys aren't going to play through the pain he's playing through. Maury will tell you that. A lot of the high-profile guys, they look at themselves like they're investments and they're going to shut it down. And I mean, this kid's really made a run at it here. I respect the hell out of his want to and his want to be there. Some guys, go through what he's going through wouldn't be as try to push through it like he is. Like my man Marcos Garza in the Garza law firm, they're always pushing through it. I was talking to Marcos earlier in the week, and we were just touching base, and he's totally fired up for this run. And Marcos involved with so many great things in our area, but I know he was really proud of Gillespie today. He's gotten to know that Gillespie family really well. And, boy, they're good people. His grandfather, a championship drag racer today, and I'm telling you what, Jacoby today went from 0 to 325 in that game with the greatest of ease. Brian, what did Gillespie end up with in the game? Because I'm looking at the NCAA stats over here, the media stats for the game. They've already scrubbed the numbers over here, Brian. They've got UCF and UCLA up on my thing with the starting lineups, Brian. They've already scrubbed the numbers in front of me.
He had 29 points, which I believe is tied for third on for career high for a Tennessee Vol in an NCAA tournament game.
Woo!
He was 11 to 21 from the floor, 6 of 11 from 3. He played 36 minutes. He also had 9 assists and 3 rebounds.
And like Matt said,
he had 3 steals.
And like Matt said, he had a magic wand in his hand in the first half. Everything he threw up went in. Let's go back to the phones. So it is Nate Ament's ankle, which is the reason that you didn't see the real Nate Ament today. We can report that. Let's go back to the phones. By the way, Rick Barnes today didn't get Andy Enfield's memo. They didn't let Miami of Ohio breathe on offense today. They actually were coached. They actually had a game plan, the Vols did, on defense, and they accomplished what they wanted to accomplish. They didn't let them breathe. And the Vols have opened as a 1.5-point favorite on Sunday. Rice fans. Hello and welcome into our next call. You're on the air.
Yeah, that'll turn around. That'll go off Virginia about a 3.5 point.
Oh, in your world, sure. As Pazza Dave's in the mixing in the hunt with us.
Oh, listen. If he was hurt, then I'm not buying it. If he was hurt, then why even start him or play him? That don't make any sense. That he got out of bed this morning, his ankle was bothering. So if he was hurt, then why play him? That don't make any sense at all. He started both halves. That don't make any sense.
Maury, what do you say to a vat of knowledge and logic like Dave here, who's saying it didn't make any sense that he was out there?
I guess the kid and the staff wanted to see, if he could go, and they found out he couldn't.
It took 11. He played 11 minutes in the first half. It took all 11 minutes. Figure out he couldn't go.
Yeah. Probably. I'm not there. I haven't talked to anybody. I'm just surmising.
His body language just tell.
David, the thing is with.
Go ahead, Alex.
To me, if you're gonna, it's great to say hindsight's 20/20, and I thought they would win this game comfortably, and I'm sure most people did, and maybe the staff did. But if this is a game late, you can't just stick a guy out there if he's not been playing, if he's cold off an injury like that. So I think, to me, that's more of a deal where you see if he can go, see what you got. He doesn't play particularly well. And then after a couple minutes in the second half, when you realize, yeah, we got these guys, we're good, that's when you kind of pull them off. And even on the broadcast, they said they were kind of keeping him warm in the tunnel, moving around a little bit. I think I would rather him try it out and not go versus sit him and need him, and then you're done. I mean, because this isn't the SEC tournament. You're done.
Yep.
Well,
what do you say to that, Dave? How do you respond to that? I mean, Alex brings up a good point.
I say this. I wish we'd have got one of those other 5 stars, because this guy wasn't worth $4 million. And if he goes out on a whimper, which I think it will happen on Sunday, then it was just, I hope it's a learning experience for Barnes, because you could have got two players, experienced, good players, for that money. And if the kid's hurt, okay, fine.
He fell in love with him, man. What do you want him to do? And they beat Duke for the kid. What do you want? I mean, what if the kid was at Duke? Can you imagine how good Duke would have been this year?
Tony, let me ask you something.
Go ahead.
If Duke really, really, really wanted him,
right,
Duke would have got him. And that's the truth.
Really? You know that? I don't know that.
I know that. If they wanted him, you think Duke was going to pay him $4 million? No way.
You're out of here. Thank you. 865-200-5402. As the Vols get the W today, rather easy fashion over Miami of Ohio. They've even taken the final score off my score. I wish y'all could see this. Over off the media numbers. They scrubbed it right away. I bet the UT media members are really happy with this, because this box score is usually the one you rely on. It's got everything. It's got the whole deal. Anyway, Al, you know what I'm talking about. That thing that's been scrubbed. Go ahead, Bri.
Yeah, Rick Barnes did have a quote on Ament. He said that Nate would play every minute if he could. He's not going to be 100% healthy until the season is over with. So I guess we already know.
He's admitting that. Wow, that's surprising. That surprises me that an old school guy like Barnes would even admit that, Maury. That means to me that he's really hobbled here, that I got good information. How about you, Mo?
Yeah. No, I mean, Tony, the kid's trying, and I agreed with what Alex said. They put him out there to where if the game was close, you didn't want him sitting on the bench with 5 minutes to go. It'd be a tie game, and go to your best player. Hey, you need to go save us.
I do want to say, GMAX Tapeworm asked the following: can we get a caller in here who's not blowing at .20? Score a T3 TD every time, my friends at T3 Vodka, Tennessee's premium vodka, handcrafted with passion, precision, and so much pride. The great Mark Lester in the house. 5-time gold medal SIPS award winner. T3 Vodka, you got to ask for it by name. They had it today over on the deck at Calhoun's. It's absolutely outstanding. And they are, T3 is distributed by Empire Distributors of Tennessee. Shout out to the great Mark Lester as Maury's presented by him. Let's go back to the phones, and we'll get our next call in. As the baseball team in a 0-0 battle with Missouri. Great night for baseball in East Tennessee. Great weekend for baseball. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony. Go Vols. It's Zach. What is
Hey,
up,
E-Town. Welcome in, buddy.
Yo, hey, do you think we should start doing sobriety checks for all our callers?
Yeah, and like a guy told me, I had a guy one time that was a promoter of ice racing over at the Civic Coliseum, and what these Russian guys, and they were like a circuit, and they would race on motorcycles out there on the ice and do heat races and race each other. And I asked the guy, I said, do you drug test your drivers? He goes, yeah. He goes, and if they pass the drug test, they don't get to ride. That's what he told me. I'll never forget that. That was 25 years ago. I'll never forget that. He said if they pass a drug test doing this, they don't get to ride their motorcycles that night.
You must be this drunk to ride. I mean, I haven't had any cocktails or anything so far. Maybe later, but
shout out Dos Equis.
Sammy called in. He seemed to be he was very optimistic. He's like a rolling paper half full guy. I'm a little less optimistic. It was a great win. We just out everything them after the first 5 minutes where they went on their little streak and had a nice little crowd. But this Ament news, and it was weird. I saw a picture. I saw just a flash of him. The tights or whatever that gear. It was ripped. It was kind of weird because I didn't know he even really played that much. It was ripped right around his knee. But I was going to ask you real quick. What did you guys think of that Berg three right at the end of the half?
Dagger.
Is that amazing?
Hey guys, they couldn't believe on television that they pulled Gillespie out, who was smoking hot, and I'm like, well, they don't watch the Vols. I could believe it. And when Berg hits a three ball, Brian, that rattles around, and I want to shout out my man Gary Sturm. When Bergie hits a three ball like that, Brian, you know
yep.
that the Red Hawks are going home with the consolation prize. Brian, what was going through your mind?
Miami had a little bit of momentum.
Yep.
I think they scored off a turnover to cut it to 16, and then Tennessee held for the last shot, and Berg looked like it missed, and it was going to be a 16-point game at half, and Miami had to still think, well, we cut a 20-point lead to 16. If we can cut it to 12 maybe to start the second half, we might be right there. But when that rattled in, and I think that just had to be deflating for Miami if they thought they had any chance in the second half. And I think what they brought up the fact that Miami was 6-0 at halftime when trailing, and I don't think they want to make a game. They want to let you think this is still a game to keep viewers and interest. So, of course, they're going to say stuff like that, but this never felt like it was going to be one of those where – and Tennessee had blown 5 leads before that were double digits, but this just never felt like it was going to happen. After Berg rattles in a three, after their best player can't score over Ethan Berg, you know it was over.
I love Steve Lapis. I mean, he can eat an apple through a pick of fence. But I'll tell you this about him. He goes, He goes, what in the world? He goes, what in the world are they doing? Pulling their hot shooter off the floor. And I'm like, you haven't gotten the program, brah. And then he said about Carey, he goes, Carey can operate down low. He goes, this man can get a shot against anybody. I'm like, hey, Steve, watch a little video there, brah. You can watch some video before you do a game. I mean, come on, man.
No film study from Steve.
Interesting.
I just really quickly, that as far as the Kentucky thing,
yep.
I mean that's on the coach, but it's also on the players. They got to know. I mean that's just an instinctual basketball player. That makes me want to vomit. But,
you got to foul him, right? To do that, like Maury said, like Matt said, to outplay them, outcoach them, to be in that spot, to out-execute them, to make that big shot, to get up 3, and then to let them throw it in and just saunter down the court. You got to grab him there. You got to grab him.
I don't necessarily blame the coach. That was a total system failure. So for us to avoid having that happen on Sunday, I don't know if we're going to be able to play Carey, but we got to have Estrella. Maury, I mean, you haven't watched much, and I haven't either. You say you haven't watched much of the Wahoos, but do you see somebody like Estrella? And I mean, Parr looked pretty nice today. They were getting some lobs in, and I just want to appreciate Alex and Brian. It was a great day, great win.
Thank you,
I love
brother.
winning in this tournament. It's the best thing. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you. Maury, it's more Virginia's length, right, than anything, because it's functional length. And the kid last week, I mean, a great measure of this is the work that was done in the ACC championship game when he shuts down Boozer and he records, I want to say it was 9 or 10 blocks in the game. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong or give me the proper number that's on the panel, but it was a profuse number of blocks. When you're doing those sorts of things and you hold the Boozer kid to like 4 points in the first half, that's the kind of stuff that, makes me a little, a little concerned about this matchup, especially when Rick Barnes has now sold for Nate Ament's banged up ankle. Rick Barnes never does that. Could be that he's doing that to sort of set a trap for Virginia, though, Alex. You know that? Could be that he's doing that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't buy Rick Barnes as a guy who tries that, but maybe you're right.
Let's go back to our phones at 865-200-5402. But the matchup with Virginia, and again, the Vols have opened as a 1.5-point favorite. The matchup with Virginia, this thing becomes interesting now because the pressure's on Virginia. They're the higher-seeded team. The bracket in front of them has opened up. The higher seed than them has lost, which sets the table for them in the Sweet 16. The pressure's on Virginia in this ball game, in my mind. But that's me. The pressure's on the Who's. As we get ready to go back to our phones, if you want to get in the hunt and in the mix with us on a night where your Tennessee Volunteers, my Tennessee Volunteers, get it done in Philadelphia with the greatest of ease, I want to shout out a couple of sponsors here. Shout out to my friends at Waterside Contracting. Look, maybe you have a dream about buying some land and building on that land. Waterside Contracting are incredible contractors. If you don't believe me, go check out their website, watersidecontractingllc.com, because when it's time for your dreams to come true, watersidecontractingllc.com has you covered, because they will build quality without compromise. You really have to see their work. It's pretty darn amazing, the stuff that Waterside Contracting does. And then I also want to shout out our friend at Walker's Painting, because when it's time for a fresh coat, they've got you. And you better run. Don't walk to Walker's Painting. Interior, exterior, whether you're doing new construction, whether you're doing a remodel, a repaint, commercial, residential, they've got you covered. And I also want to say that Waterside Contracting, by the way, will also do, if you have a home renovation or a remodel, they can do that for you as well. Great, great folks. But back to Walker's Painting, you're going to run. You're not going to walk to Walker's Painting. 865-688-1410. We go back to the phones, 865-200-5402. And we'll get our next call in. Mario, you have the Iowa-Clemson game on right now, Mo. Are you paying attention?
I'm flipping the channel, Tony. Before one of the times you were rambling, I looked up and Seth Davis was on, and you know what that makes? That means the mute button comes on. So I changed it, and now I will go back.
Yeah, head back over there. Apparently, I was off to a really good start. As we go back to the phones and get our next call in, as Chris Oakes, one of our super chatters, says, GBO, love the tourney, love this time of the year. Just beat Virginia. You got it, Chris Oakes. I totally agree with that. And, boy, with Nate Ament looking like he did today, all hands got to be on deck. Just like for Iowa State. Those Iowa State kids, now they're without their guy. There's no way that kid plays on Sunday. And he's literally their best player. He's one of the best players in the country. That is terrible to see that. What a break for the Kentucky Wildcats. What a break for the Kentucky Wildcats that Herb Sendick coaches like Dean Smith out there and just lets you shoot a 3-ball. You just go ahead and shoot. We did all this work to get you don't do that. You foul. You grab. I'm not letting you get a clean 3. I'm not letting this Oway guy get a clean look at the bucket. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Tony.
Yo.
It's Miller.
Hey, Miller. Welcome in, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I want to start with the Kentucky game.
Mm-hmm.
Herb Sendick blew that game.
Mm-hmm.
For one, his players ought to know the foul. And I understand with this new rule, you have to be careful because they get one step and shoot, and they can call that continuation.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to foul him on the catch, on the inbounds play. You got to. And the players either didn't know or just screwed up. And then Sendak was trying to call timeouts. Well, he had wandered 15 feet away from the official. If you're the coach and you know you're going to call a timeout, you should be up the official's ass. Don't wander away. And so, and then Oway missed it so bad he made it. He missed it by 18 inches. He banked it in.
Oway, I love him. Tongue-in-cheek afterwards, he said, I turned to coach and I said, it's good. He said, and Mark Pope said that. Which I don't believe that for 5 seconds that kid called that shot like Mark Pope said. And I also
No.
don't believe Herb Sendick when he said he was trying to ask for timeout. I'm sorry, but I don't.
He
I don't-
was. You could see him doing it. I saw him. You watched the replay. He was trying to call, but he was too far away from the official.
Hey, Maury, did he also say we told him to foul? Was he also saying that, or did he only say the timeout deal, Mo?
He said he would just call a timeout. And again, I'm not going to argue with your caller. I watched it 8 or 9 times, slowed it down.
Yeah.
To me, if you call timeout, you run out on the floor and call timeout.
Thank you.
Number 2, and again, I've known Herb 25 years. I was pulling for him to win. Number 2, if you watch him, there's a guy from Kentucky down the floor. He's running down the floor, pointing to his defender to get back to him. And again, he'll you know, what's bad is they've been really, really good, and they got a bunch of guys in the NBA from a mid-major. You know, they don't have tons of NIL money. He's a really, really good coach. This is the first time they've been to the tournament in like 10 years. That's what people don't understand. How from some of those jobs where you don't get a chance to go back. You know, you get there and you think, oh, we're going to come back, and you just never do.
Hey, Miller, the finality of that. Can you imagine knowing, like Sendick knows, that he let his team down like that?
Yeah, and it's like Morris said, you don't. Santa Clara, I'm sure, is a senior team. They're going to lose everybody.
Yes.
And if they got any underclassmen that are good, they'll transfer. Well, he blew a chance to go to the round of 32, and
it opened. It opened for him. If they would have won, think about that. If it would have won, they easily could have gotten to the 16 with the straw they have right now.
Well, Kentucky gets another break with Jefferson being out.
Yep.
That's their best, Iowa State's best player. So
not even close.
Getting to Tennessee, I thought overall they played pretty well. They didn't miss as many bunnies as they normally do. But you can tell Ament is hurt. He has no lift on his shot, and that's affecting his shot. And this next game, you got to figure Gillespie's not going to shoot it like that again. So you really need Ament to be able to play that next game. And I don't know if he can.
I want to hope that they got him off the floor for precautionary reasons, and that's what they did. They just said, "Hey, you can't move today. We'll get you in treatment." Because look, we saw in Nashville, and that was my big concern. My belief I'm not God, and I'm not into like assessing somebody's health, but after watching him in Nashville, you know, he played 10 excellent minutes of the Vanderbilt game, and he really went off. But then obviously the next day when he got up, he obviously didn't have it, because that's how he looked today.
Yeah.
You know, he just doesn't have any, I'll tell you what made me feel pretty good was the Evans kid. The Evans kid on his ankle looked pretty good today, and he's got a bum ankle too.
Yeah, you couldn't even tell he was hurt.
No.
They got the other thing. What in the world was Barnes thinking at the end of the first half of that lineup? I
love it.
You take Gillespie out.
I love it.
To rest him 18 seconds before halftime.
Lapis said, what are we seeing here? And then,
there was a Masamba sighting.
And Masamba gets on the floor. Who were the 5 guys? Shout them out. Let's shout them out. The 5.
Ethan Bird was one.
Yep.
Masamba was one. Who was their post? Was it whoever was the other post?
I think it was Okpara, I believe.
Okpara, okay.
I think the other 2 were Evans and Boswell, I believe. Now, that's what you had out there for the last shot. And then Berg had no idea that the clock was running down. They had to tell him.
He just let it rip. Yeah, he pulled. Yep. That's pretty next level,
Tony,
man.
they may have taken him out. Again, I don't know. I mean, the box score, I don't have the play-by-play in front of me.
Yes.
But again, if he probably doesn't have 2 fouls because Coach Barnes would have had him out of the game. But let's say he's got a foul. You want him to pick up a ticky-tack foul. You're winning by 20 points. I have no problem with him being off the floor.
That's an interesting point. Yeah, that's an interesting point.
Yeah, Gillespie. Yeah. You're up 20 with 18 seconds to go. So at worst, you're gonna be up 16 or 18. And to keep him from getting a foul, a guy running in front of him, or him trying to go to the basket and running over somebody, something like that, I have no problem with that at all.
I understand that, but to me right there, I just tell him, hey, don't go to the hole. You shoot a three if you want to, but don't go to the hole.
That sounds good. These are 18, 22-year-old kids. I mean, I sat next to Tony for 2 hours today and told him, not to, eat off other people's plates. I mean, it didn't help.
Well, there's nothing you could do about that, Maury. That would take an act from somebody way above us. So,
everybody's a commodian. Everybody's funny. Hey, I
appreciate the truth, Tony.
Thank you.
I didn't like the lineup.
Yep.
And right now, man.
How do you see the Virginia game, Miller? Talk to me. What do you think?
Well, Virginia they're really big.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken, they lead the country in block shots. They have a big kid. I think he's European, that 7 foot or that maybe bigger, blocks a lot of shots.
Yes.
Other than that, I really haven't watched him a lot. The kid that transferred in from San Francisco,
yes,
I really want Tennessee to get him. He's a good scorer. Like his name, I believe, is Mitchell, but he's a good player. He's about a 7th-year guy, been around a long time. Right now, I would have to go with Virginia.
Miller, thank you. Thank you, brother. I need some positivity in this show. God, these people are so damn. But the news on Ament's rough, and the baseball team is down 3-0 right now. Coons is getting hit around a little bit, a ball off the center field fence, and then a Jimmy Jack, or not center field fence, but right center field fence, and then he gives up another home run. It's 3-0 Missouri right now, top of 3. So. This would not be a good development to lose the first game to that team and then have to scrap back and get your next 2. But it is what it is. Baseball is a crazy sport. Go ahead, Bri.
Tony, they didn't foul a 3-point shooter today.
There you go.
That's one positive thing.
There you go.
They had 9 dunks and 9 threes.
865
13-2. So that's what I call good balance.
865-200-5402. Connexial drive of the game, Bri. What you got on our Connexial drive of the game presented by our friends at Connexial? My 20 drive of the game. Your Connexial right out of beautiful Knoxville and it has revolutionized your trucking industry nationwide. We want our fleets more efficient. We want your drivers safer. We want our roads safer. We want to take control of our fleets, improve your safety scores, want drivers to be happy, want to maximize your profitability. KONEXIAL.com, KONEXIAL.com, Connexial. What's a Connexial drive of the game, Brian? What you got?
We've talked about him, and I don't think he's had one this year, so I'm going to go ahead and give it to Ethan Berg. The 3-pointer right at the halftime buzzer that kind of rattled around. I think it completely took momentum away from what little momentum they may have had. I don't think they had much of a shot anyway, but I think that kind of left them really down a little bit on themselves going into halftime, down 19 instead of 16.
We got these over.
So I'll say Ethan Berg's 3-pointer that beat the buzzer that rattled in to make it a 19-point, 51-32 lead at the half of the Vols.
Before we go back to the phones as we celebrate this great win by the Vols and look ahead to Virginia. And by the way, 865-200-5402 as we have lines wide open for you. And, that's the deal. We're competing with the nighttime window plus the baseball teams on. So we'd love to hear from you as Tennessee gets the W. And really the big takeaway tonight is between now and Sunday, what is the health of Nate Ament? What is the health of Estrella? And if Nate Ament gets on the floor and he's ginger, what does Tennessee do? Maury, I want you to think about that. I'm going to put a pin in that. And if we get a call or two, and I'm going to ask you about that, what will Tennessee do on Sunday if they get there and he's not able to go? What then? What's Tennessee's pivot from that? Because you got to play what's in front of you. But I do want to remind you, my friends at Alumni Hall, as we get ready to go back to our phones, you can dribble into Alumni Hall. You got these overlapping seasons where it's beautiful out. It's time for some baseball. You got home runs here. You got 3 balls over there. And you got my friends at Alumni Hall meeting the moment. And spring football as well. But Alumni Hall meeting the moment each and every step of the way. Here's the deal. With their Hall Pass rewards, $10 in Hall cash for every $150 you spend. And the thing is, you can accrue as much as you want. Download the app, follow along. You'll see deals as you go. They're going to take incredible care of you. The best Vols shopping destination, so easy to find. 6 Tennessee locations. You can shop online as well at alumnihall.com. Download that app, Alumni Hall, the ultimate Vols shopping experience. We go back to our phones, and the question becomes, if Ament can't be on Sunday, what are Tennessee's other alternatives? And Alex, I want you to think about that. And Brian, you think about that. And Matt Diskin, if you're in there, think about that as the Vols get out of the inning and are trailing 3-0 with traffic on second base to end the third inning. So the Vols bottom of 3, down 3-0. Tennessee moves on their side of the bracket. They get Virginia on Sunday, and in St. Louis, Kentucky gets a beat up Iowa State team on Sunday as well. Hello and welcome in. Who lost their best player today? The Jefferson kid is, he does everything for that basketball team. That's a horrible, horrible loss. Talk about lucky right now. Kentucky got lucky today, and they got lucky with that draw. Let's get our next call in. Hi, you're on the air.
Gino Muppet.
It's Garza Law, Tennessee basketball overtime. All right, so no phone calls. Alex, what do the Vols do if they've got a guy that's gimmicked up there in Ament? What happens?
You have to obviously hope that Gillespie continues his hot streak, and then I think you to me your second best option will be to hope that Evans can give you 10 to 12, and then hope that Estrella can do the same, maybe stretch the floor a little bit, because I've got a high amount of concern that if he wasn't effective tonight, that Carey's you're not going to be able to count on Carey doing anything. So I don't know. I mean, that's why the Daves and the folks of the world have always talked about who's that third option, because if something goes down with one of your top two, then who do you have? So I don't. It's not a great answer. I don't know that they've got an option, Tony. I mean, he's got to be healthy, at least enough to be able to knock down some shots. That doesn't mean he has to be able to go for 25 or 30, but he needs to at least be effective enough to where he can stretch the floor from a spacing standpoint and at least be able to take and make a couple of shots on the opposite side of Gillespie to keep the spacing. Because the other thing that does, even if he's taking those shots, it stretches the defense if he's on the perimeter to where they can't gang rebound, and then you can get some of those one-on-one matchups for a potential offensive rebound down low, even if he doesn't make those shots. So I think he's got to at least be able to give it a go, even if he's not 100%.
Brian Hartman, what say you? What's the pivot for the Vols, Brian?
Well, they got to get those bigs from Virginia away from the basket and then try to drive around them somehow. They need to devise some type of offensive scheme to do that. And they could, but we'll see if Virginia, I don't know, 2 days. They have 2 days to get ready for Tennessee. Tennessee has 2 days to get ready for Virginia. I don't know who that favors. Maybe Maury can answer that question. But it's a short scout.
Yeah, no, it's a short scout. I mean, they're probably back having dinner right now, getting ready to watch tape. They've got it all queued up, and they'll look at it. They'll practice tomorrow, and I'm sure Ament and Estrella and everybody else is getting some treatment right now. But Tony, getting back to your question, you got to, like you said, you got to play with what you got. It's not like you can go on the waiver wire. You can, bring somebody up from AAA, and they don't have a lot of options. I'm sure this isn't the first time that somebody's going to be thinking, hey, we need to get these big guys away from the basket. If you had more guys that were more stretch big guys, that could probably happen. But I don't think Virginia's bigs are going to be chasing around. If you're trying to get Akpar and some of the other guys away from the basket, they're just going to let them play out there. They're going to stand back at 15 feet if they're trying to open the floor. But I agree with Alex. They got to do everything they can to get Nate on the floor to where he can be semi-usable, let's say, to where he can make a shot or two, because he just opens everything else for everybody else.
And you got to hope that Ament could draw some fouls on those big guys, and maybe you can get them in foul trouble. That's another thing. And then if he can get to the line, maybe he can score that way, like he did against Vandy.
I'm really hoping for his sake that the Ament we saw today is not the Ament that's on the floor on Sunday, or the Vols are, I won't say they're cooked, but Gillespie's got to go out of his mind again. Gillespie, let me see if Matt Diskin's still in the room, because Gillespie, in my mind, is going to have to, he's not. Gillespie's going to get 35. If Ament was the Ament we saw today, Gillespie's got to get 35 in that game. That's just the scoring on this team. Because here's the thing about Sunday, if we're just going to talk honestly. When you look at the size of Virginia and you look at the way Carey does not function in these games. Now, Estrella can function in this game, but like Maury said, the deal with Sunday's game is going to be who are the officials. See who your officials are really matters. We were talking today, and Maury read the officials, and we both said in the moment, hey, that's a nice official draw for Tennessee. See, that's a part of the draw, too, is how the game's called. And I guarantee you, Sendik's coached hundreds of games. He looked out there when he saw that official assignment. He said, we're in trouble today. He knew that because they let Tennessee put their hands all over their guys at the point of attack. There were no open shots. You were not in Kansas anymore, and you weren't going against Andy Enfeld, if you're SMU. And so the question becomes, and we have to ask this now, because it's survive and advance. Do you have any ideas? We've watched this team all year. I'm trying to think of how you could devise a scheme where you could take advantage of what you do offensively, because I don't know what we do offensively. I don't know how, does Boswell have a big game in him? Does this Evans guy have a big game in him? It's got to come from somewhere, because I did not like what I saw from Nate Ament today, and I don't like our head coach selling for him being hurt. He hasn't said that all year, y'all. He never says that. Alex, when's the last time you heard Rick Barnes sell for an injury like that?
Almost never. He's kind of just. I think there was even some stuff about Ament earlier in the year where it was kind of a poorly kept secret that he was battling some stuff, and Barnes was just kind of hard on him, saying, "Hey, he's got to get tougher. He's got to
wouldn't do it.
So.
It was this ankle stuff. Yeah, he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. So, and it's kind of like Maury says, because look, Iowa State's in the same boat right now. They lost their best player, but they got to figure out a way to get past that Kentucky team. The other thing about Virginia is, and somebody pointed this out, one of the things about this game is if it's a close game and it comes down to foul shooting, watch out, because both teams struggle. So that's a something in this game, something to kind of for us to kind of keep our eyes on. But it's a very interesting sport for that reason. And the reason it's really interesting is, say you get there Sunday, and this Ament guy's still gimpy, okay? But then he heals up by midweek. All of a sudden, you're Tennessee. Your bracket's opened up here. You get an opportunity in the Sweet 16 on Thursday. So let's go back to our phones. We'll get as many people in here at 865-200-5402. But Nate, Rick Barnes saying what he said about Ament and his ankle injury after today's game. I texted somebody who told us moments before Barnes said that it was the ankle again. It was bothering him when he got up today. They knew it. They decided to try and let him go. I know people want to second guess that, but I'm not second guessing anything, because I said this on the air. If it was me, I would not have played him in the SEC tournament. But then again, you have to play him at some point. You have to play him at some point, even saying what I'm saying. But let's go back to the phones, and we'll get our next call in. Hello and welcome, as it's Garza Law, Tennessee basketball overtime. All lines are jammed, as they will stay throughout. Hi, you're on the air.
I heard a beep. Is that me, Tony?
Yeah, it sure is. Thank you for calling.
Okay. You've got a unique show. You take three callers in a row slurring their words, and then go straight to a vodka commercial. Nobody else can do that.
You got that right, brother. Thank you.
That's good. I'm sitting there watching this baseball game, getting disgusted at it. But anyway,
yep.
If Ament's not able to go Sunday, I think we'll struggle to get 60 points. I doubt 60 points will be enough. Where else are we going to get it? I mean, what's the odds of Gillespie going off like that again? I mean, Virginia knows if Ament's not out there, they're going to key on him. So,
Maury, that is true, right? I mean, Ament, but they turn around. We just overslid the bag. My gosh, this Tennessee team tonight. You know, Maury, that is true, right? They kind of know what they know, don't they? Which is that, hey, this guy at the very least is a little gimpy, and you know, we know to shut this guy down, right?
Oh yeah, Tony. I mean, they'll know, and just like they'll you know, they probably would anyways, but try to run him off screens and go at him defensively, and I mean, if he's out there, they know he's not 100%. They know he played 18 minutes for a reason tonight, yep. So. They're going to, you know, coaches are going to do whatever they can to attack a weakness.
And the other thing the coach will do is you'll get physical with that guy. That's the other thing. You'll push him,
and again, I would, you know, not that he's, you know, you've got other guards and forwards, but if you've got one of those big guys out and you're only playing one big for Virginia and he's guarding a guy that can move, you're running him off more screens than maybe you would, you know, if you got another guy out there.
Yeah. Anything else for us from our caller?
Yeah, I just figured out why Elander likes to coach third base. He got a good look at that overslide.
Thank you. Yeah, the right kid just overslid third base. Tennessee was about to have the bases loaded and one out, and you know, it looks like one of those nights here early, but it's way, way early in this baseball game. But boy, these games are the college game is just it's just. What's like college basketball? It's just so wild, the things you see. The imperfections to me are really perfect in college hoops. Just not fouling that kid today and letting him have the 3-ball is just I don't know.
In a weird way, there's a beauty in the imperfections.
Yep.
It's almost, I don't know, it's kind of what makes it not professional.
I love it.
Which sounds like it's stating the obvious, but I think it's a beautiful thing as long as it's not happening against your team. But hey, Tony, and this is kind of a question for probably Maury.
Yeah.
But maybe you know, because I know in the past UNC have combined and kind of had an idea on who's got the scout for which opponents. Maury, I'm assuming if Tennessee's doing their job, they had someone going ahead and scouting this second round game. But my question is, would you, or do you think Tennessee had, you know, their quote best scouting coach on this second round game, going ahead and working on that over the past couple of days, or do you think they just shift and do a 48-hour turnaround?
Well, I think number one, on a staff like Coach Barnes, he feels comfortable with anybody doing scouting. That would be number one. Number two, whoever did the game for, and again, you couldn't. They're not like Clemson that knew they were going to play Iowa. So since Sunday night, Clemson's just scouting Iowa. Tennessee didn't know they were going to play until Wednesday. So they were, you know, one guy was doing SMU, one guy was doing Miami of Ohio. Okay, the game's over, then, you know, Greg Polinsky has Miami of Ohio. Then he's done it this time, and then somebody else is doing the other. You know, they got two other guys doing the game. You know, the opponent, the possible opponent for Sunday. And then whoever,
and they do it way in advance, right, Mo? They do it.
They're all in with the film breakdown and things like that, and so they're now on to that guy.
Because you have to scout both teams, because you never know. Like Wright State today, I mean, Wright State. Yeah, the crazy thing about the tournament is you just never know, man. Any given day. Let's go back to the phones. It's been a great NCAA tournament so far. First round night games are going to be interesting.
Tony, St. John's is ahead of Northern Iowa. Everybody, it was kind of a sexy pick, Northern Iowa, and the game's still early. 16-2.
Woo!
Coach Pitino.
Woo! Ooh, back to the phones we go.
Let's keep in mind Northern Iowa finished 6th to that conference, Missouri Valley, in the regular season.
Back to our
but a lot of people said that was a sexy pick because they played so slow and they played defense. And coach, last year, St. John's got upset.
Maybe they were talking about Patino's patina off his skin these days. Hello and welcome into our next call. You're on the air.
Hello, Tony.
Hey, Richard. Welcome in, buddy.
Oh, man. Good to talk to you guys. I tell you what a wonderful to come on the show. Going to be one of the final 32 teams left in the tournament.
Yep.
First of all, you got to say, hey, this team is one of final 32 teams. And regardless of what, again, the negative Vols continue to come on here and dog for whatever we're doing of this or that. Hey, we're one of final 32 teams. That's all that matters.
No doubt about it, man.
And so, considering your high-paid player didn't score, was not a factor in the game whatsoever, and you still went out and took a team to the woodshed in the NCAA tournament, a team that spread you out, that made your bigs play out on the perimeter, and the bigs played good defense out on the perimeter. I love it. I think we manhandled them and we did everything we're supposed to do. And again, without your big gun doing anything in the game, and you just went out and took care of business. So,
hey, Richard, I didn't see Andy Enfeld across the way. Did you? The way the defense Tennessee played. Now they made some shots early. I thought Barnes had a really great point when he said, he said, I'm kind of glad they made a few shots on us. He said, because we told them. These guys, if you give them a crack of light, are going to hit shots on you. And he said it helped us to gain some focus. That's a very veteran coach thing to say, Richard, in that spot.
Hey, give them credit. They came out the first few minutes of the game and didn't miss.
Yep.
And whether it was a three or whether it was a fadeaway 2-pointer, they hit the first 4 or 5 shots. But you know what? From the whole time, we knew they were going to struggle to guard us. There's no way that team could guard us in the half court. We could get inside, we could go outside. It didn't matter. We were going to score at will as long as we made open shots. That's all it was. Whereas the Vols were playing themselves, and all they had to do was make open shots. It didn't matter who we had in the game, whether Ament scored or not. All that mattered is we were going to have open shots, make them. And we did, for the most part. Gillespie had an amazing game. He lived up to what we're paying him in NIL money. And this is what the NCAA tournament's all about. It's having at least one guard that has a great game. And can he, do it against Virginia Sunday? I don't know. Nobody has a crystal ball. Nobody can say what's going to happen. But I can tell you this. I like what we have. Virginia... I watched Virginia in that entire game against Duke in the ACC championship. And when I was watching them, I was like, okay, Duke's playing without their starting point guard and their starting 5. And, Virginia played with them, but Virginia still couldn't beat them without 2 of their best players on the floor. And I like the matchup. That's why I told you the other day that Tennessee's going to go to Sweet 16. Unless we just go out there and just break open shots. We're going to beat Virginia. And we're going to be in the Sweet 16. We'll see what we can do against Iowa State. So, again, great victory for Tennessee. We're going to be one of 32 teams left, and that's all you can say. And again, it goes back to Tony, whether negative or anybody else who wants to talk about Rick Barnes or how, all the guys that you have that call in and just hate Rick Barnes for whatever reason. We are a top 10 basketball program year in and year out in the country and all that we do. And let's just enjoy what we have going on with Rick Barnes and this basketball program, because we're doing things that we've never, ever, ever have done in basketball year in and year out.
Isn't it funny, though, Richard, as great as Barnes is, very rarely will he beat a team where he's the worst seed in the tournament.
Well, he doesn't.
He's got an opportunity on Sunday. Isn't that an interesting thing, though? He's got a chance to do it here Sunday.
Yeah. Well, I can't explain it. Nobody else can explain it why he doesn't play the underdog role well. I don't understand it. His team just doesn't get it done as an underdog role but they do as a favorite. But again, we're looking at the history of Tennessee basketball, and we've never, ever had this kind of run as a basketball fan. Like I said, I've been following this team since Dale Ellis and Michael Brooks and those guys were playing at Stokely and playing on that clay court, whatever that court was, man. I used to love that tartan court, whatever it was.
Yep.
So we've never had this kind of run ever in the history of Tennessee basketball, and I just appreciate it. And I'm thankful for it. And hopefully we continue to play past this weekend into next weekend. And I'm just going to enjoy every moment. I'm not going to be like the negas and sit there and go, well, this guy didn't do this or we didn't do that. You know what? It's basketball, man. Some of these people who complain to you, Tony, have never, ever played a game of basketball and understand how difficult it is sometimes. We talk about guys missing shots here and there. Let me tell you, these are big bodies that are trying to block the shot, that are athletic, that are trying. It's not as easy as people think it is. It is. It can be a difficult game sometimes, and I just appreciate it. So,
Richard, thank you. I tell you this: I don't take any NCAA tournament appearances for granted. I see a once proud program like Villanova today just went home in the 8-9 game. You know, and it's a good point. I mean, you win a game in the tourney. That's what, Bri? 23 wins now with this team? And they have been healthy all year. This team's been beat up all year.
Yeah, Barnes has only went one and done once.
I mean, that's pretty damn incredible.
However many tourney appearances.
And it was that weird post-COVID year, right? It was that weird...
it was the 21 season when they lost to Oregon State with Springer and Keon Johnson.
Yeah, the two kids. Yep.
And that team just was... You could tell what was going to happen.
That team was cooked. Yes. That was not going to happen. I mean, they went out there against an Oregon State team that hadn't been there in forever, and that was in Indianapolis, right? Am I remembering that correctly? I think
they played the whole tournament there.
They played all the games in Indy.
COVID
there. Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Thank you. That whole tourney was in Indy. So,
Tony, there's a great article on The Athletic we were talking about today, but if you can find it, a guy wrote an article about how they pulled that off, and basically it started like literally a month after COVID in 2020, and they started talking about, okay, if this can't, because they lost so much money, and they said we have to have it. And a guy came up with an idea, and he said, we can do 2 games here in the Dome. We can use Butler. We can use the Pacers. We can do all this. And it's a big, you'd really enjoy reading it. It's really a well-done article. They interview everybody. Dan Gavitt. They interview reporters that were there. They interview some coaches. It's really well done.
Tennessee quickly goes to the bullpen. The Pennsylvania native, Coons, is out of the game after going 3 innings. And his replacement inherits a runner on second base, nobody out, Vols down 3-0. By the way, how about this for a factoid, to Richard's point, while we sit around and bitch about NCAA tournament wins, they're negative. This is the first NCAA tournament win for Virginia since it won the Natty in 2019 under Tony Bennett. And that national championship came 1 year after the Who's lost as a 1 to a 16 seed. And who was the 16 seed, Brian, that beat them?
It was Maryland of Baltimore County.
And who coached Maryland, Baltimore County at that point?
Oh, gosh.
Ryan Odom, who's
He's
now
not there now.
Ryan Odom.
Ryan Odom.
Who's now Virginia's head coach. So Odom is now there, and they've had a cycle there of getting beat, and it was hard for them today. Hey, Maury, early on in that Nebraska game yesterday, it's hard for these teams when you're playing against history. Me and Matt Dixon were talking about that. How would you like to be those Nebraska kids and walk out on that floor knowing that we've never, ever, ever, nobody that's worn a jersey for us has ever won one of these games, Maury? How would you like to walk out there and know that? That can't be easy.
You can't hide from that fact. It's kind of like when I went and did the show with you today. I knew I was just going to have to be miserable for 2 hours, but I gutted it out. I got taped up like hopefully Ament will. and I got it done. But you're right. People like that, this is going to happen again.
Back to the phones we go. By the way, shout out to my friends Dos Equis. 2026 Cervezas Mexicanas. There is a Dos Equis flavor for you. The various brands of Dos Equis. You will taste it from the absolute first sip. It is so smooth. Oh, it's beautiful. Make this a Dos Equis weekend and go for Dos! Dos Equis 2026 Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York, as we go back to the phones. On Garza Law, Tennessee Basketball Overtime, presented by Marcos Garza and your Garza Law firm. Going to treat you like family, as Brian Kelly once said down at LSU when he got that job. And not real hospitable is Missouri being to the Vols right now in our building. They're coming in and wrecking things. As we go back to the phones, as Virginia used a 9-0 run and an 11-0 run to hold off a Wright State team, or Tennessee could have really had that bracket open up. That's why they call it madness. And then we'll get our next call in. And if you want to get in, line available for you at 865-200-5402. Hi, welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony. It's Jack.
Hey, Jack. Good to talk to you, my friend.
You too, buddy. Everything you judge by what you do in your tournament.
Sure.
And we understand Barnes had the best of success in his tournaments, I want to applaud him for the season he's had this year and the job he's done.
No question.
Really, what he's done his whole career, what he's done for our basketball program. We was in some trouble,
yep.
And he's turned it around. And for 23 times this year, we've got to come on here and celebrate a victory.
Can you imagine this? Right. Tennessee wins on Sunday, and the Vols are all beaten up. Okay, it's going to be a real handful for them. Even though they're currently a favorite, I don't know that I'm feeling terrific about Sunday. I wasn't feeling terrific about it to begin with, but I'm not feeling terrific about it now. But that said, they win that game Sunday. They're 40 minutes away from four consecutive Sweet 16 appearances. Now that's pretty damn good. I would bet you the number of teams in college basketball that have been to four consecutive Sweet 16s. Maury, what would you say that number is offhand?
There's not many, Tony. I mean, you go back to John Wooden and UCLA and
yes.
Some of these other schools. But again, I mean, like your callers that call in that Coach Barnes doesn't outplay his seed. And you mentioned, I think Matt O'Brien said, he's got knocked out once in the first round. I mean,
yep.
Tom Izzo was a 2, lost to Middle Tennessee State, my good
yep.
friend Kermit Davis when they were 15. And I mean, it happens. That's why they say that you play the games.
No doubt about it.
It's and it's just, but getting back to what your caller said, yeah, if the season they've had with the injuries, it's not in my humble opinion from the outside looking, it's not a well-built team.
No.
We've talked about it all year. They need a third scorer.
Yeah.
And that just, again, you just can't go to the, minor leagues and pick one up. You got to play who you got. And again, but he's finding a way to win games.
And maybe one day
Alabama and Houston are the only other programs that can go to 4 straight Sweet 16 in the country.
I mean, is that any good, Jack? And I know we're all captive by the moment. And I get it, you get it, we all get it. But if they win Sunday, now I said this, okay? People think I'm being funny and trying to be. That is a hell of an accomplishment with this basketball team. So you're telling me, Brian, that two teams can do it? Yep.
The Buzz Peterson era.
Yep.
Driving down 15 minutes before tip and parking wherever I wanted to on Volunteer.
There you go.
Walking in the arena for $5.
Yep.
Sitting wherever you wanted to sit.
Yes.
People forget those days. I mean, yeah, I want to make a Final Four. I want to win a national championship. But what he's done here and what he's done this year.
Yes.
And the, people want to say, okay, he knew he was a 2-guard short. Okay.
Right.
He went after Ament. Okay. He didn't envision on Ament getting hurt earlier in the year and playing hurt throughout this whole year, which is he has come along a tremendous amount.
Well, Jack, it's like this, right? The USC outbid Tennessee for Rodney Rice. The Vols thought they had him. The Vols thought they had McNeely early on, the kid from Virginia that went to Louisville and actually I think had a pretty good game in the tournament yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. But at any rate, he got hurt. The Rice kid got hurt at USC. Does that mean that USC did a terrible thing in going out there and outbidding the Vols? Of course it doesn't. You know, the cheese movers want to say, well, Duke wouldn't want Ament anyway. That's absolute bullshit. Duke wanted Ament. We beat Duke for Ament. Barnes got personally involved in that. They got Kevin Durant personally involved in that. And Ament had a family, a faith-based family. The father as a minister, he met the mother in Africa. It's an incredible story. It's an incredible story.
I love the kid.
He's going to be a great player. There's no question in my mind he's going to be a great player.
And one other thing that it's just, I can't understand that these people want to be judgmental on Jacoby Gillespie. I know I'm a homer on Jacoby. I watched him all through high school. But what that kid has done, he took a pay cut to come play for Tennessee. And look what he done today. And people want to try to compare him to Zakai Ziegler. Zakai Ziegler's last 2 years, what would Jacoby Gillespie have done this year with either Dalton Connect or the kid that was there last year? What's the two guard last year that we had? His name
Lanier.
Lanier. What would Jacoby look like with Connect or Lanier at 2 rather than Berg or Boswell? Answer that.
Yeah, I think it's you mean Jordan Gainey is who you're talking about, but yeah, Gainey's son. Gainey's son. Yeah. Listen, I think that here's the thing. Ziegler might be your best point guard in school history, okay? But against Houston last year, see, that's the thing about all this stuff. It's always about matchups. He wasn't going to function in that game. And he's a great player. But when you get on the court with those guys and they put their hands on you, and there's a reason he's not playing in the NBA. And I love the kid. Love him. But like Richard said earlier, I mean, there's a physical nature to that game. And Tennessee showed Miami of Ohio today. You can't duplicate this. You can't get ready for what we're about to do with you. We put our hands on you as the Vols played a run on a home run, and it's 3-1. But Jack, I appreciate you.
I ain't knocking him by no means either. He's one of my top 3 favorite players ever at UT, Ziegler.
Yeah, but he wasn't going to win that game. Yes,
he had a lot of heart. Him, Ryan Childress, and I mean, they're top 2, and then Connect. That's my top 3 all time.
Yep.
But I mean, what Barnes has done to this team, I think, is just gets overshadowed, and people wants to. And the minute we lose, if we lose, or when
they're going to be jumping all over him Sunday, sure.
Yeah.
Y'all, and it's a great coaching job.
Having this show, and appreciate everything you do.
Thank you. On Sunday, I'm going to say, hey, it's a hell of a coach. People aren't going to want to hear that. Well, he built the roster. He did this. He did. Hey, these guys are all. Listen, you're in hyperspace in the spring. Now you have your plan. You try to work your plan in the spring, but man, all this. Everybody's got a borderline incomplete roster right now. I'll tell you this. It could be a whole hell of a lot worse. I'm going to read this one more time. Virginia won their first game in the tournament today since winning the Natty. Now, I realize they won a Natty. No arguments there. Brian, how many NCAA tournament wins have we had since Virginia won their national championship? I want you to think about that.
I think this was their 10th win.
As you turn your volume down. So 10 wins. 10 wins. And I love Bry because Bry's got to have his TV volume up while he's on the air. Alex, do you like that? Is that a endearing quality of Brian Hartman?
Matt never does that.
Is that an endearing quality of Brian?
Yes, particularly during football season when we used to have the Pac-12 After Dark.
Yes.
We could get the live studio updates. Tony, you talk about the potential 4 straight Sweet 16s, and everybody knows they've been down.
Yep.
But would you care to guess the last time St. John's has not made the Sweet 16, just made the tournament 2 years in a row? 2 years.
Maury, take a stab at it.
That's why the the guy from Vitamin Water got involved and hired Coach Pitino, because I mean they've been bad for Mike Anderson, Chris Mullins. I mean, they've been in the darkness a long time.
And I'll tell you something. I have sponsors on here, and every one of these coaches needs a sponsor now that steps forward and says, "Hey, I'm gonna bankroll your deal." That's the thing. That's the new thing. And I mean, I like to think we help people grow their business. I'm not sure what these sponsors that spend these millions of dollars are getting for their bang for their buck, but it's insane. Give me the number, Alex. When's the last time St. John's went to 2 of them in a row?
It's like the old Juvenile song, the 99 to the 2000, Tony. 1999-2000
wow.
season, the last time that school did it, with all that history and all that talent.
Yep,
that's crazy.
Hey, Tony, I've said this to you before, and then I'm going to go, Tony. My wife's looking at me. She said I spent enough time with you today, so we're going to go have dinner. But that watch out what you wish for. You know, Rick Barnes retires, or whatever. You're not going to fire him, but who are you going to go get? It just doesn't magically work. You could hire a guy you think, oh, he's a great young coach, and it doesn't. I mean, I've been around this game 40 years, the business 40 years. You can say, oh, he's a great guy, one at the mid-major level, and then you see a lot of mid-major guys bring their staff and they can't recruit at the highest level, and it's not just a perfect world in terms of hiring coaches.
Mo, thank you. Yeoman's work by Maury Hanks today. You are dismissed. You're free to move about the cabin, and my best to Susan. Thank you,
Tony.
brother.
Thank you, and we'll be on Sunday. Hopefully, the game times will be put out later tonight, and we'll talk to you Sunday.
You're the man. Tennessee and Virginia on Sunday. Yep, we'll be on with you after the game. Let's go back to our phones. As I remind you, my friends at We Ship Floors, and one of our great sponsors. Shout out to Alan. Alan's been busy because they're going in retailers throughout the entire country. And Alan was in here. We were hearing from him and this, that, and the other. They're having right now, and because they're going into various retailers, they're having to cut back on the number of Supercore floors. They were offering like 125 at one point. Now they focused on the biggest sellers. His product is incredible, okay? I want you to go over to WeShipFloors.com. I want you to look at something. He's got some videos on their YouTube channel that are utterly incredible, with him taking just a piece of just metal and just trying and hammers and trying to dent this floor, and he can't, because it's called the Supercore floor. Now, they're having a massive warehouse clearance. Now, I'm not kidding you. This is first-run stuff. Up to 95% off in some cases with the stuff because he's got to sell this stuff out. Why? He's got to make room for his other things. He's got a growing concern. And he's sort of kind of reinventing himself here on the fly. But in order to do what he does, you could be the winner here and support our program. WeShipFloors.com. It's SHIP Floors.com. A massive, massive warehouse clearance. WeShipFloors.com. Let's go back to the phones. 3-1 game with the Vols. Bri, give me some score updates and hoops if you have them, if you're looking at it, and we'll go back to our phones.
Iowa 35, Clemson 31.
Okay.
Early second half, it's St. John's 32, UNI 18, 6:30 to go in the first half, and it's UCLA 29-18 over UCF, and Queens is trailing Purdue by a score of, as they take the score off, 28-22, 7:12 to go.
How about that? First half. The Kings from Queens and Queens from Queens.
Do you want me to turn my volume up louder, Tone? Is that good enough for you?
By the way, in the night session, Bri, is anything calling your name? Do you have anything calling your name, Bri, in the night session?
I think Miami, Missouri seems to be the most maybe compelling one. I want to
Yes.
see how Cal Baptist can do against Kansas, and Florida's going to run over their hapless opponent.
Yes.
But you've got UConn Furman. I don't know how much of a game that'll be, although Furman's big. Might give UConn some trouble, but I don't know how much trouble. And we'll see if that Alex Wilkins kid can have a good game. So that's what we got. I don't think there's anything that maybe if I would probably maybe pay in person to see, but definitely keep my eyes on it.
And you never know. You might see some fireworks here. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, and one more thing. The softball team leads 2-1 bottom of the seventh at Florida. Pickens is on the mound with one out with two on.
Baseball
trying
team.
to get to 28-0.
Baseball team, 2 outs for Missouri. As they bat in the fifth, they lead 3-1. They got runners on first and second. A critical batter in this game coming up. What feels like Tennessee tonight has stranded some ducks on the pond. They've run into an out, overrun a base. It hasn't exactly been pretty for the Vols here. That Sunday game, I hope doesn't haunt them. I really hope that mismanaged Sunday game doesn't come back to haunt these guys. Before we go back to the phones, talking about Barnes' appreciation, I just want to share one other thing with you. I was thinking today, as Tennessee ripped that opponent apart in the first round, how hard it was for Bruce Pearl to get his first win with the number 2 seeded Tennessee Volunteers against the guy who was a total weirdo over there at Winthrop, which I call Winthrop, but Winthrop, the total weirdo coach that went on the Wichita State, total weirdo.
Greg Marshall.
Yeah, Greg Marshall. By the way, 0-2 pitch, and Brady Frederick hits a guy on an 0-2 pitch. That's just baseball, man. And now the bases are loaded. But these guys are making this look easy. And this roster, like Maury said, was flawed from the very beginning. It has been flawed all year. That's not going to change. And Matt Dixon was exactly right when he said, if you take Nate Ament and pull him, or he's not able to go, or he's not close to 100%, it's going to be really hard for them to win on Sunday. That's my conclusion. I'm not a magical thinker when it comes to this stuff. You got to have basketball players if you're going to win games. As Missouri gets a base hit, they plate 2 runs, and it is now 4-1 in front of I'm sure, a very surprised and sparse-looking crowd on a really great Friday night. But Brian thinks that college baseball, to me, Brian, in the SEC season in baseball ought to start 2 weeks later. This is something Chris Burke and I agree on. It should start the week after this first weekend of March Madness, because most people are watching the tournament.
Well, fans shouldn't have to choose. It really is tough because basketball's ending.
Yes.
For me, it's all hoops because it's no decision. It's hoops, hoops, hoops for me.
Yep.
And it just sucks that some have to choose between, well, do I go to the game or do I watch the basketball team, which could be their last game. It might be the last game they actually win this year.
You're exactly right. 865-200-5402. As Frederick gets out of the inning, it's 5-1. But when you hit a guy with an 0-2 pitch, you pay for it. You got to execute in this deal. And Missouri's got enough a team that they're going to make Tennessee execute this weekend if they're going to win. And this is still young, this game. We'll see what happens. Hello and welcome in. You're on our Garza Law Tennessee basketball overtime. Hi.
Hey, it's Greg, Tony. What's happening?
Hey, Greg. Good to talk to you.
Appreciate you, man. I'm not going to bash Barnes. I don't want to fire him, nothing like that. But there's one thing that I think we have to be honest about. He's got to get this Kentucky thing under control. He's lost 7 out of 8 to him, got swept this year.
Yep.
Both games, double-digit leads in the second half. And I thought the first one was the worst Kentucky loss I'd ever seen, and then the second one might have been even worse. But, you know, other than that, I mean, I think he's done a good job. And I mean, I can't remember being more surprised at an opening dominant win in the tournament than today. I did not expect this kind of a beatdown, and they did exactly what they were supposed to do. I just didn't expect them to do it.
No, they went out there today, and I mean to tell you, that was TCB. That was Bachman-Turner overdrive right there, brother. They absolutely maul-jobbed that team.
I got a colleague that went to Miami, and he's been texting me for about 3 months about how good this team is.
Yes.
And he texts me, they're a fun team to watch and set up well for a deep run in the tourney. Fluid basketball, really good shooters, efficient, and juniors and seniors.
Oh, no.
And he was texting me today, and he was kind of like, yeah, I wonder, if Tennessee brings their A game, we might be in trouble. And I pretty much said, hey, look, we've got 2 studs. One of them's hurt, and I did not expect Gillespie to have the game that he had. Looking forward to Sunday, I don't expect Gillespie to have this great of a shooting performance again, so we have got to have Ament, or I mean, we could still win. I'm not going to say we're lose without Ament, but it's going to be a struggle. We play ugly, we slap, we claw, we punch, we do all the stuff. I think Virginia does a lot of that stuff too, and as somebody earlier said, they've got the size to keep us from sort of dominating offensively like we did today. Rebounding-wise, we did exactly what we needed to do. Miami's been a horrible rebounding team all year.
Yes.
I'm really shocked that they, got as far as they did, record-wise. But, I mean, this is just how it is. Like, you never know what's going to happen. It's going to be different every year. Yep. And Tennessee looked pretty amazing today, but we'll see what happens in a couple of days because they could very well be going home, or we could be headed to the Sweet 16. If Barnes gets this team to the Sweet 16,
yes, I
will be very impressed.
Totally agree. It's like Coach of the Year material. And here's the other thing. Be careful what you wish for to everybody listening, because if we get to the Sweet 16, Alex knows how the film's going to play out. Who we play in the Sweet 16, Alex, with our duct tape and baling wire basketball team?
Unfortunately, it'll be like the last 2 years where you're going to play the one team in this tournament that you've just gotten no shot against matchup-wise.
Actually, now that Iowa State has an injury, you might play Kentucky. That's kind of what I was thinking. Let's go for the
Sweet 16. Sorry, I was from Elite 8.
Let's go for Trace.
Tony, I don't like the argument of saying, well, if you get rid of Barnes, who are you going to get? That is weak.
No, I never liked an argument like that.
Yeah, so other than that.
But I will say this. You and I agree, because we were here in the 90s. I've seen some desolate, deep, dark times where you want to talk your team off the bubble. This guy is a high-floor coach. I know one thing next year. The 2026-27 Tennessee basketball team will be in the NCAA tournament. How do I know that? Because Rick Barnes will be the head coach of them. And that he just lives in the tournament. You can say whatever you want to say. And if we go to the Sweet 16, and he does get there with this team, which I think would be a great accomplishment, as Brian said, it will be 4 in a row for this school. And, Brian, the only 2 schools of the 332 Division 1A schools that have done it, Brian?
That can do this is Alabama and Houston.
Thank you.
And both are in the round of 32.
And let me tell you something. This loser, Hoosier Vol Ryan, as I'm going to start calling him, he would love at Indiana to have Rick Barnes. Okay? Love him.
Tony, are you saying you don't miss the 19-11 finals of the Kevin O'Neal years?
Oh, those were great days. Yeah. O'Neal was so fun because he would come on the show during practice when I was on in the afternoon and literally get on his phone with me in the old days of the cell phones. And he'd be over there with the brick phone. He announced that Chris Brand was off the team on the air with us. And I said, Kevin, are you kidding? He goes, no, Tony. He goes, I told him that his meatloaf was burning and he needed to get out of here. And then what I didn't know is that Chris Brand took all his clothes off and stripped everything down to his jockstrap and walked off the court. That's 1990s Tennessee basketball right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Tony, I do remember that O'Neal absolutely adored you. He loved you. He came on all the time.
He was so funny. Yeah, we got along. We got each other.
I'll jump, Tony. See
Thank you, brother. 865-200-5402. So I do remember, shout out to my man Josh Collins and your Collins Insurance Agency, my friends at Erie Insurance. Everything in here is insured by my friends at Erie. And if something happens, I know they've got my back. And I know Erie Insurance will have your back just the same. Ask Josh about their rate lock program, which is fantastic. And I want to shout out Josh Collins and your Collins Insurance Agency online at collinsinsuranceTN.com. And I'm Scott Ziegler for Collins Insurance. So you get right. This is Zuzu. Hey, Josh, it might be time, to update the... How about that? We're going to go through a different basketball season, and we still run in the same spot over there on the Everyday Show. Do you have a thought on that? And by the way, Michael Motes has put a white flag up there for me. Hey, listen, I'm not waving the white flag on Sunday. Anything can happen in these games. If Nate Ament comes out looking the way he did today, that's going to be a really tough ask on Sunday. Now, it could be that we've gotten all this far, and Jacoby Gillespie shoots Tennessee through to another round. You're going to need that from him. You look at this team. You look at the way the team's constructed. He's got to go for 35 on Sunday. If Nate Ament looks the way he did today, in other words, he can't move because his ankle's bothering him, you're going to have to, and we're going to have to see Nate. We're going to have to see, and Gillespie's capable of it. I was talking to Maury today. I saw Jerry McNamara, coaching Duke off their feet yesterday. Brian, you remember that tournament Jerry McNamara had the year after Mello and those guys? Do you remember how great he was?
It was 2003, yes. Him and Carmelo Anthony was the star, but I don't think they win it without McNamara's contribution.
I think the next year,
Carmelo Anthony.
I think the next year is when Jerry McNamara went crazy, though. I think that was the year I was talking about. I think it was 2004. But at any rate,
by the way, the line is flipped on VIP play to Virginia -1.5.
Yeah, it makes sense because now the books are. And shout out to my friends at VIP Play, online at VIPplay.com. And you bet $20, you get $100 in bonus bets instantly. It makes total sense that line would shift because they saw what we saw today and they heard Rick Barnes. And, that makes sense if Virginia goes off a favorite. Alex, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, total sense.
Yeah. So, bet $20, get $100 in bonus bets instantly. The promo code, the phrase it pays is TN Tony. Yeah, the books are going to respond accordingly to what the head coach said because they know, like I know, like we know, that Rick Barnes doesn't say things like that. He just doesn't. And Alex is right. There were points during the year where we knew Ament was pretty beat up with the ankle. We knew he was, out there gutting it out. And Barnes was like, no, he's just got to play harder. He wouldn't sell for it at all. He sold for it today. Generally, it's not what Rick Barnes does. So it's interesting. Let's go back to the phones. I do want to shout out my friends, though, over at VIP Play. 200 leagues are live always. All kinds of stuff going on this weekend. I love this time of the year, and so do they. They meet the moment at VIP Play where everybody gets treated like a VIP. Gambling problem, 800-889-9789. 21 and over, located in the state of Tennessee to place a bet. And let's go back to the phones, and we'll get our next call in. Hi, you're on the air. Welcome in.
Hey, Tony, it's Holly.
Hey, Holly, long time no talkie.
I know. I've been busy listening to you guys.
Well, we love you.
Now. But today's been the best day having a basketball, men's basketball, women's basketball.
How are our Lady Vols doing right now, Holly? Are you?
Well, that's what I wanted to say. I'll start out with the negatives first. We are getting killed.
What?
19 to. Well, we just did a 3-pointer, so 19-7.
Oh.
In the first quarter.
I saw where Janiah Barker's not playing. There's been so much drama around her. At some point, I'd like to divulge what happened there. I saw
I'd like to know that.
Well, I'll email you. I saw what the Cooper kid said. She said she doesn't know why she got sat down. She told the media that, and Kim Caldwell had to play it off. Usually when a player says F you to a coach on the sidelines after they take him out of a game, they probably are not going to get reinserted. Kim Caldwell politely let the kid off the hook and said it was a coach's decision or whatever, because that kid won't be here next year. She could have thrown her under the bus. Kim Caldwell has shown a lot of grace here toward some people that she probably shouldn't show grace toward, in my humble opinion. But that's another story for another day.
Another story for another day, but it's looking bad for our Lady Vols.
That's too bad.
Sad. But,
at least they got in, right? At least they kept the streak alive, because them being a 10 seed shows me, Holly, that they were right on the line. They were really close to being maybe in the playing game, which is crazy.
I'm just so glad that our record continues of always being at least in the March Madness for the, I don't know, that just kind of the...
Holly, would you bring her back next year, speaking of that? Because you're going to try that record if you bring this gal back next year, I'm afraid.
I think they've got to give her another year. I think she probably is over her head, but I don't know. I think she's got to have another year, and I don't know. I guess it could go either way. Just kind of sad. I felt bad for her, and I felt bad for her because she was over her head, I think. And, you always want somebody like that to do well. And I think she also got caught into this dilemma of these paid players that are, let's just face it, they're smart Alex, and
that's the point.
Money.
Yeah, that Janiah Barker girl said something to her in a meeting that you just can't say to a coach. She said, "You're not getting on the bus." I'm sure that shocks you, doesn't it? Does that shock you?
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
It's the pride. It's all coaches are having to deal with that.
Yep.
She's a young coach, so I'm just sorry for her. But I think she deserves one more year, and we'll see what happens. But I'm just so glad that so many people have called in and have praised Coach Barnes and his staff, because I really believe that he and his staff have done an incredible job this year. I mean, let's face it, it's been an agonizing year for the men's team for a lot of reasons. And I got to thinking about it. We've wanted and we've pulled for Ament to progress, and he's been off and on, and he's an incredible player and an incredible guy. And he'll go on and do great things, I'm sure. But this injury is tragic and it's bad, and so I'm not expecting great things on Sunday. But I really think, considering everything, that our coaches have done a fabulous job with these young men, and figuring out a way to play people to complement each other. And I keep going back to something that, just to show you how little I know. I remember last year going to both of the Vanderbilt games, and thinking that Terry was the cat's meow, and watching him at Vandy, and I was like, oh my God.
Against us. Oh my gosh. He was, when I saw him, when we got him last summer, I was so excited. And then,
me too.
But what's crazy is we broke his numbers down the other day on the blog, Holly, and the poor guy, no offense, has just been brutal.
It's pitiful.
Thank goodness they're giving Brown his minutes today. I hope that continues.
Since my husband's a Vandy grad, I was like, oh, we got him. And, now I kind of wish that hadn't happened. But I was trying to run his numbers through AI. I'm kind of getting into all that stuff, trying to learn. And I'm telling you, I can't get it to do exactly what I want. And I don't ever trash players, but he is not good at all.
You're such a sweetheart. Actually, where I come from, we call him a brutal player.
And it just, I don't understand how someone that is a good athlete that gets under the basket and doesn't even, I know he's tall, but I don't understand how his feet get about 3 inches off of the floor.
I do. You know what they call that?
I'm an old bad didn't.
No, I'm going to tell you this, Holly. It's anthropological. I can promise you this. Somewhere in that Kerry line, they have some Italian blood in them. And that kid's got a lot of it. And Holly, thank you. You have a great weekend. And I am a simpleton. Hey, Alex, question for you. Because our fans are really hard on this Ament kid. Do you agree with me in saying that I want the Sixers to tank and I want to get him in the NBA draft because he's going to be a very good player in the NBA? Do you agree with my assessment that that kid will be a very good pro player?
Yeah, I think I think it's a shame that was born in the year he's in, because if he was born last year or a year later, he's probably a consensus top 3 or 4 pick.
Yep.
Instead, I mean, he's probably number 8, number 10, or something like that. But yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, it's like watching this Tennessee baseball game right now. Briar, you have an eye on the Lady Vol game. Is that on your radar at all, Bri? Our Lady Vols.
Yeah, they just got a 10-0 run to get back down 5, but it's 22-14 NC State late in the first quarter now.
A 10-0 run, and they're down 5?
The Lady Vols went on a 10-0 run, and they hit a couple threes, and they forced a turnover here and there, and they got 10 straight.
Gosh.
So they haven't given up, and I think they're the girls that are out there are playing hard.
Tony, when you talk about Kerry and his jumping ability or lack thereof, I know this is rich coming from me, but I always think back. I don't know for sure. I think it was Phil Mickelson in one of his Masters wins.
Yeah,
everybody's got the fist pumps or whatever. I think it was Phil, but one of those guys, when they won, they threw their arms up in the air and jumped, and you could have fit a piece of cardstock beneath their heels, between their heels and the ground, and that's what I think about every game I watch Kerry go out there.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. The people that are in the YouTube chat right now, some of them are total losers because they don't think Ament's going to be able to play in the NBA. You people don't know basketball. I'm sorry. He's a freak. At his size, to be able to do what he does, and when we saw him at portions of the year when he was healthy, and when he adds a little weight and kind of fills out a little bit and becomes, he goes from a boy to a man, gains that GMAC weight. Of course, one of our, YouTube chatters is GMAC's tapeworm. I mean, we got commodians all around us. Everybody's a commodian. Let's go back to the phones.
Shoot, Tony, the thing about the NBA is you look at these guys like Kevin Durant, like Wemby, and now those guys are on a little bit of a different level than Ament. But you look at those guys, and this is why so many people think that Ament will thrive in the NBA. You don't have to be real strong and physical. You're not getting pulled and tugged like you are night in and night out in the SEC, because it's a totally different game, and you're running up and down, and it's free flowing.
Yes.
I mean, he very well could function in a way a little bit more naturally, even as a rookie in that league.
Well, it's kind of like
he does in this league.
It's kind of
in
like
a weird way.
See, I follow hockey. Okay, here's what people in hockey will tell you: the NHL for some players is easier than playing minor league hockey or playing in college hockey. You know why? Because they're better players, they're better athletes. So they understand space, they understand how to get open. Nate Ament looks like a very smart player to me. I will bet you he'll be a very good NBA player. And those are the best of the best. Now, it might not happen right away, but he's got much better opportunity to do that than Dalton Knecht does. Why? No offense to anybody involved. Okay, and I love Dalton Knecht. Nate Ament's a better athlete. Nate Ament's a freak. He's a freak. We've never seen a player like Nate Ament. I wasn't around here during the Bernard King days. We haven't seen a guy as freaky as Nate Ament. It's a shame he didn't get a chance to show us that. And it's a shame his body's not cooperating right now, but it doesn't make it less so. But let's go back to the phones.
Well, the other thing, Tony, on that is if your Sixers draft him, you won't have to worry about it because him getting the Dalton Knecht treatment, because unless he's got some son that I don't know about, Embiid doesn't have a guy, a child hanging on, taking up a two-way spot.
But the Sixers are, I would hope for that young man that he doesn't end up in Philly, because that's literally NBA purgatory. Hello and welcome in.
Hey, Tony.
Hi, you're on the air.
Steven Jasper.
Hey, Jasper, welcome in, my brother.
Hey. I don't know if you talked about it, but, this team that Tennessee beat today,
yep,
14 teams in the SEC that Ken Palm had ranked higher.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
You know, so I don't want to be a downer, but I kind of expected Tennessee to roll today after I watched that team play the first half the other night, their game.
Hey, Steve, when you win,
pretty good.
Yeah, when you win 31 games, though, I don't care what your competition level is. You got to be pretty good to do that, though. But I do agree with you. Physically, they don't belong on the same floor with us. That's just the way it is.
I think the height. I mean, yeah, I thought Missouri's height affected Tennessee, and I think Tennessee's height affected Miami, among other things. But you guys are usually pretty good at guessing the start times of games. You got any ideas on?
No, I have no idea what
I
you're
think
going to do.
that Tennessee, Virginia, and Philadelphia, to me, has a 12-10 tip written all over it.
Yeah. I hope that's right.
I think early afternoon is what I'm thinking.
Yeah. I'm hoping for that. What do you think the chances are that this ranking system will get kind of modified next year, where there won't be, these schools like Miami are complaining about not being able to get games against the top teams? You think there's any way that they would modify that system to,
No, they can't. No. This is something that they've all fought for. Look, the power leagues are controlling the rules now. They've got the gold, and they control the rules. And you heard Maury Hanks talk about. Look, Maury's got a company. You can look it up, called Global Sports, and he's got a tournament. And he knows all these coaches all over the country, and these coaches want to play two things. Rick Barnes does when he puts a schedule next year together. And look at Tennessee's schedule when you see it. They want to play excellent high major teams, and then they want to play quad 4 games, and they don't want to play the teams in between. You don't gain anything by playing those teams. And Steve, until they change the system where you gain things by playing those teams, you're going to get what you get, man.
Yeah.
It's a shame, isn't it?
It is a shame. It's quite frustrating.
Yep.
And it's what keeps me from going to more games during the year.
Yeah, because it's a bunch of bad games. You're exactly right.
Yep. But anyway, it was kind of I'm hopeful for Sunday, but it was kind of a disappointing day today with Kentucky getting that.
Oh my gosh, that's just. Why do they not foul them, Steve? How do you not grab him?
Oh, it's just so annoying. And I learned something something, or I had confirmed something last Friday at that SEC tournament. I'd rather see Kentucky lose than Tennessee win in many cases. And last Friday was one of them.
Were you down there?
I was there.
Oh God, those people!
And I was delighted to see those Kentucky people suffer with that.
Here's the thing: we might go down Sunday. They better go down Sunday. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Thank you, my brother.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good talking to you. It's like if you asked me right now, would you make that deal? I mean, misery loves company. Misery loves company, Matt Dixon. Okay, here's what we can tell you about the Virginia game.
Or as that last caller said, Missouri loves company.
We don't know the time of the game yet. We do know this. Gainey has the scout. He's excellent. Gainey's been very good when he gets a scout. Virginia is huge around the rim. It's something we know. But their guards are very, very, very good. They brought in a kid from overseas who we were talking about earlier. The Mallory kid, the freshman, is a young man that Tennessee was involved with and would have gone there if Odom didn't get the job. But Odom was hired in the spring, got the job. He turned him around. As the Vols start the bottom of the 6th with a ground rule double. Virginia will turn the ball over, And their game is not to force turnovers. It's not how they play. So Tennessee, from that aspect, should be in pretty good shape if they don't do harebrained stuff on the court. They're not going to play a team that's going to force pressure on them. And if you'll notice, that's what Wright State did with them today. Now, does Tennessee do that with them? Does Tennessee force pressure with them? If you think we're laborious to watch, Tony Bennett's gone now. The pack line defense isn't there, but they play slow just like we do. I mean, if you look at the efficiency numbers, those two teams mirror each other. If you know our format on here, you know this is generally the time we jump out and we start previewing Sunday's game. But Tennessee's 33rd in defense in the country, 13th in offense. Virginia's 28th in offense, 16th in defense. Tennessee internally does not feel like this Virginia team's a super hard team to stop. And they also feel like Gillespie will be the best player on the floor on Sunday. With or without Nate Ament. Tennessee feels like with immense health issues right now. The trick to Sunday is our bigs have to finish around the rim. And you got to watch drive and kick threes. Because drive and kick threes are what cooks this team and what could cook this team. Tennessee with a squibbler back through the box or a squibber back through the box. First and third, nobody out now as they try to come back from 5-1 down. Against a Missouri team that's fielded the ball pretty well tonight. Missouri looks like an improved baseball team over what they've had in years past. I want to thank my friends at Performance Medicine. Perform my best tonight at Performance Medicine. They're online at performancemedicine.net. Here's the thing, this type of time of the year has really played havoc with me. I made a few modifications Dr. Rogers suggested, and I'm cooking with grease over here right now. What can I say? And so we're going to be right back in the catbird seat on Sunday, making it happen with you. I want to shout out my friends at Proper Popcorn, who will be a presenting sponsor of what my boy Will Heflin does. All right, Brian Hartman, between now and Sunday, next time we speak, how many upsets? How many upsets tomorrow? Give me something on that bracket that's calling your name, Bri. Anything on tomorrow's bracket calling your name, Bri.
Well, first, let me find it. And I don't know if this is an upset, but I think seeding-wise, Vanderbilt, I think they can beat Nebraska. You had a couple. I want to see what Texas A&M can do against Houston. I seem to want to take the points there. Texas, Gonzaga. I believe Texas over Gonzaga could happen. Call me crazy, but they came in with they'd lost 5 of 6 coming into the tournament and appeared to have no momentum. I don't know if St. Louis can hang with Michigan. I don't think TCU will beat Duke, although that other game was close. High Point against Arkansas. I think the Razorbacks will probably, although they don't play many players, they're not real deep. But I'll say Texas Gonzaga. I got that game. I got my eye on that one as far as an upset. That'd be 11-3, and that's a SEC power conference team. So how big of an upset would that be?
Yeah, you're right.
As the Lady Vols trail 26-19, 8 minutes to go in the half.
Well, at least they're hanging in.
28-19.
Last time when they played that team, it was similar to that. The problem with this Lady Vol team is they're going to get hammered in the third quarter. They get hammered in every third quarter, Bri. So they have to get in the game because they're going to get absolutely obliterated in the third quarter. Are they not?
Well, they've had 2 weeks off, so maybe they'll be fresher.
And I do mean obliterated. in the third quarter, Bri. As in obliterated. But let's get a couple more calls in. My son's trying to fly out with his lovely girlfriend on a vacation, and I like in our country how you can't fly anywhere right now because we have a government that just doesn't work. Both parties. I'm going to shout them both out. Shout out. Let's get our next call in. Hello and welcome. You're on the air.
Tony, what about it, brother? It's Bo and Galveston, man.
Hey, Bo. Good to talk to you, my friend.
You too, man. You know, we need to count our blessings, not our troubles, brother. We're getting to talk post game after a victory.
You got that right.
In the NCAA tournament, man. You know, could be Wisconsin, could be some of them teams that already went home. So, you know, live to fight another day, brother. You know.
You got that right. Amen to that, brother.
You know, I was thinking about playing Virginia, Tony, and I know you remember this, but back when, I guess, man, it was 82, 83, we played Virginia.
Yep.
The great Howard Wood. When they had Ralph Sampson, we had Howard Wood, Michael Brooks. Dude, I was like a ninth grader in high school when that happened, man, and I cried. They beat us, and I absolutely cried, brother.
Nothing like the pain of losing in March, my man. Now, this team here, especially when it's a team you really love, like the Grant and Admiral team, this team here, if we're all honest about it, is a little bit of a chore to watch. I don't know how many shed tears are going to happen over these guys if and when they depart.
Let's talk about that game for a minute, Tony. You know, I know they got I don't know his name, but the big man that they got that's a rejecter. I mean, dude, we just got to have Felix go toe-to-toe with that guy, keep him away from the rim.
Get him in foul trouble.
We're not going to get anything on the drive at the rim with that guy. Felix is going, and JP going to have to body that dude and keep him away from the glass where we can get some shots up inside.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, I guess the best way to counteract him is to go at him. It didn't work for Duke last week, but you're right. I mean, you hope you get a crew that calls it tightly if you're Tennessee.
I mean, they have some kid, Tony, that we need to lock him up, and hopefully it's a one-time deal for him. But the dude comes off the bench today and had 26, man, and he averaged like 8 points. This guard for Virginia.
You know, it's the thing about Virginia is it's a winnable game for Tennessee, but they've got to do certain things. And we've got to figure out some other scoring options because I did not like what I saw from Ament today. You know?
Well, I mean, is it really, Tony, your sources saying that it's still the same exact
thing? Same exact thing. Here's what happened. What happened is he heard it in early December. And then he looked lost, if you'll remember. And then it got better when we got the league play. And then he started to come on. And then he heard it again right around the time of the Vanderbilt game, and that's where we are right now.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you know, and y'all are right. Kerry's not going to function in there with that rejector Virginia's got, man.
No way.
He's not, and I don't know about Brown, even though Brown threw it down today a couple times.
I love Brown. Nice. No, Brown needs to play over Kerry. Brown's got some ass on him. And he can get off the floor a little bit, and he's not afraid. I don't understand. I don't understand what's going on with Carey playing all these minutes over the Brown guy. Only that until I realized or found out, because I asked about it after we wrote a thing in the blog about unpacking Carey's numbers, and I was told that Rick Barnes loves him. This Brown guy loves this Brown guy.
Oh, man, he's a prospect now.
I mean, not Brown. I'm sorry. He loves Carey. He loves Carey. And that's why he plays him.
Yeah, well, look, you know, can Gillespie come out and fill it up?
Sure.
Again?
Absolutely,
man.
March Madness, man.
Hey, he's an assassin, brother. I'm telling you, man, he's got his 3 back.
Yep.
When he let them go today, I thought every one of them was going in, and about all of them did, man. I mean, he can come out and light them up for 35.
No question about it. Stranger things have happened in that tournament. That's going to be the formula.
Hey, let me ask you something real quick, Tony, before I go.
Yep.
You were talking about these guys for next year, and I know you can't say who they are, but some prolific scorers or whatever.
Yes.
Are we talking about some dudes, man, that are playing in the SEC right now or Power 5 or where?
It's a mix. I'm talking about a guy that's playing a level down. I'm talking about a guy that's two of them are in the SEC. I'm talking about a guy on an in-state team. I'm talking about 3 or 4 excellent offensive players that they're involved with right now that are not what you would call typical Rick Barnes players. They're trying to get shooters in here. That's the goal.
Hey, you remember my call, Tony, back last fall?
No, I can't remember what I had for breakfast today, and I eat the same thing every day.
Hey, what about my boy Berg? I said it's going to take a kid from the Holy Land to take us to the Promised Land. He's going to hit the big shots, brother. I can feel it, man. I'm going to call a shot.
Thank you, my brother. Call the shot.
We're taking Virginia down on Sunday. We're going to make the 4th Sweet 16 in a row. Book it.
And we get Kentucky, and I say they're going down, brother. Kentucky going to feel thy pain, my brother.
Give me the Cats again, the 3rd shot, and we'll own them just like we did last year. Let's go.
Thank you. And by the way, we'll have Garza Law Tennessee basketball overtime Thursday night into Saturday, Alex. It'll be a 4-day extravaganza if we lose that game. It'd be like Woodstock in the studio. People will be bringing me meals. We'll stay on till Sunday. I'll just die on the air. Just kill myself with exhaustion, Alex.
Maybe you can get up on a billboard like that guy did a couple decades ago in town.
By the way, the Tennessee baseball team, the bottom of the order, has generated some offense. It's now 5-3. A clutch hit from someone. I was looking away, but a rope down the line. And it's a 5-3 baseball game now, Brian Hartman. How do you plead? Brian Hartman, give me a Lady Vol score here on the way out.
It is 36-29 right before half, 2 minutes to go in the second quarter.
Lady Vols got to get closer than that, Bri, because they're going to get rolled in that third quarter like a joint cigarette, Herbie Hancock out in front of Rocket.
Well, we'll see if the 2-week layoff is
Myatt with the
in that
hit.
regard.
Thank you, Joe Fowler. Do what now, Bri?
We'll see if the 2-week layoff helps them. It's been 15 days since they played, which that could be good or bad.
Talking about the Lady Vols?
Yeah.
Hey, Bri, I got news for you. When they roll out there in the third quarter, okay, they're going to get the absolute hell beat out of them in this game tonight. You know how I know? Because it's happened every third quarter. You know how I know that? Because Laura's made me watch every one of these games.
Well, I'll say this. NC State is not the caliber of opponents that were doing that to them.
Awful at that.
So, we'll see.
Awful at bat to end the inning. Oh, well. Y'all are incredible. Josh Yelander coaches third base. We just pinch hit for my boy. Gentlemen, Al, you going to be here? You going to be in here, Al?
Yeah, it should be good. I should be good on Sunday. I'm for my sake, selfishly, I'm hoping it's about a 12:30 tip.
Yeah,
but,
why don't you come and hang out in studio with me?
All right,
and whatnot. This Maury Hanks guy and his 8 lines listener. I mean, 8 listener line. You talk about a guy that's a damn acquired taste, and I'm going to slap the hell out of him. All right, y'all, but I love Maury. Appreciate you all so much. We gave you 2 hours and 15 minutes of power. That's a football post-game show after this game. So, this is but who knows? Who knows? We're going to see what happens with Ament on Sunday. Who knows? Appreciate you. G to the B to the O. I want to shout you out. I want to say this. Hey, my man Richard's right. Tennessee's one of 32 teams left, and this is a hell of a coaching job. And House Money Sunday. Even though Virginia, they have one tournament win since 2019, and they got it today, and it was like pulling teeth. Shout out Sean Sinclair and Anthony's lovely girlfriend. It was like pulling teeth. We thank you. I want to thank all my wonderful sponsors who present this effort. I want to thank Brian Hartman for his dutiful work today, coming in and producing the show. I want to thank Al for jumping on. I want to thank Maury Hanks. I want to thank Matt Diskin, who's over, and I hope for his sake, he won't sleep if the Vols lose to Missouri tonight. And I want to say we don't give a damn about the whole state of Virginia. We're from Tennessee. And I need W or Lynn to call in and tell me about their role in the war between the states or something and whatnot. But until I don't know why W or Lynn just came to my mind. I'm quite a character, as I say in the trade. We love you. We appreciate you. GBO. And the town that gave you a thrilling first round today, as it's Garza Law, Tennessee basketball overtime. The Vols win 78-56, and so far, so good on the path to what could be. On the path to what could be an absolutely majestic run for the Vols. Did the bracket open up today? Kentucky absolutely lucked out. We'll talk about that. Herb Sendek, I don't know what that was, but it wasn't coaching at the end of the game. But that was, I'll tell you this right now, that was a total mismatch, and the Vols made it count. And let's go as we bring you as we come in today. And I want to shout out all my friends over at the U2. I want to shout out lovely Laura. I want to shout out everybody on board today, as we're fired up, focused, and prepared with you. Tennessee cruises. It is no problem. It was no problem. They blew them out by halftime, and it was all over but the shouting in the second half for our Tennessee Volunteers. Let's introduce the panel for you on this one as Maury Hanks is